Well, hello, 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 whoever you're going to turn up to.
Hello.
It's a bit of well, we usually come on Sundays, so that's not new, but sometimes we don't come up because busy schedule, summer. I mean,
Yeah.
for some working people, like have to work
Mhm.
and do the amazing sets and stuff like that. So,
Stupid movies.
stupid movies, yeah. But entertainment we need.
We do.
Um,
It's true. Yes, that's true.
yes. So that's why you have a financial gain. Oh, look,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Damian. Hello to
Hello.
you too, sir. Are you still on holiday, Damien, or are you already back to your Portlandia? Portlandia.
Portlandia. It's a good show. Have you ever seen that show?
Oh, my husband loved that one. The only thing I remember from that show is cacao. Safe word.
Yeah, right.
Do you know Coco, but cacao.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was some good bits on that show.
Mm. I must say that. Oh, just got home. Wow, man.
Just got home. Nice. Just got home, tuned in. You got home just in time, raced down the freeway. I got to get back for 2:10 p.m. Canadian time.
Well, 8 p.m. here, and so you were like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
you just about to. Anyway, so yeah, it's good to. I hope your trip was nice, Damien. So I have. Have you realized that? Oh,
Yeah, I
Portlandia
bet
probably
it did.
would.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Have you watched a lot of things? Of course not, probably because you were so
I
busy.
haven't watched much of anything. I watched the first episode of Revival, and that's all that I have the first 3 episodes on the computer, but I only managed to watch one,
Dude.
and I don't think I've watched much of anything else.
Oh,
Hello, Sean.
hello, Sean. Damien is home. Yes, you can breathe now. Okay, it's all good.
Excellent, excellent answer. I love that answer.
100%. Shall we
like
frame
in
this?
books, they put like taglines on the back. That'll be the tagline for this
Yeah.
video.
Yes. So uh, I'm glad you watched it. I watched, I think, 3 episodes. I think there's a
Oh, you did?
fourth one. I don't know now. Honestly, I can't keep up with the numbers. One
Mhm.
thing I can tell you for sure, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's
I
good.
mean, everything I'm so far watching, there is like a lot of maneuvering, not like by the book.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, and I think that's what happened to Last of Us, so TV show based on the game.
Yep.
First season, they blew everybody out of the park. Everybody loved it. Everybody was watching it. 7-10 million people stream like on the premieres and all that stuff. Second season
Mhm.
comes in, and people just stop watching it because the gamers
Really? Hey.
like myself who love that game completely and utterly. I
Yep.
played that game the most probably out of everyone. I had Mass Effect, which I was one of my favorite game. Fable, the second one,
Okay.
Xbox related. And then when Last of Us came in, I was really late to that game, but when I got into it, I can't stop playing it. It's just beautifully
Yep.
told story. So what happened in season 2 is they start changing the main character you're supposed to care about a lot, to a point when she's become this child. Everybody's just dissing her all the time and telling her you must behave, and it doesn't matter we are apocalypse behind our backs, but you must behave. You can't like relent, and you run away whatever you want to do. And it's like, wait, she's the one who's supposed to be telling everybody off. She's the one who's
Yeah.
supposed to be protecting everyone because that's how the game was. Okay, so
Yeah.
now the creator of the game has been he resigned because season 2 has failed
Ah.
according to the viewerships, because people
Yep.
were starting to complain a lot, because at the end of the day you are basing the game TV series on the game, but you have a very very strong character, the main lead, who is basically supposed to get you forward, and everybody was exciting when that happened, blah blah blah. But now they started to go away from that, and it's like, so don't take away the characters, what people loved, just go
Mhm.
on with it and change something in the background, but instead you to choose the background players or actors to be the stars, like the
Mhm.
one who is going to be a Hawk girl, she became a spotlight. It's like, instead of the main character, like, what's going on here? So he got basically he resigned himself, so nobody knows what's going to be for season 3.
Mhm.
And stuff like that. Ooh, hello, Howler Mouse first
Hello, Howler Mouse.
for you. Oh.
Oh yeah, that's right. A new Dexter series is coming. Yeah,
I watched.
18 episodes into Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's amazing. I loved that show, man.
I don't know what's Rocky and Bullwinkle. So
It was an old cartoon. Really, really good. It was great.
the only game I know about is
Wait
Scrabble.
until you see the Scrabble movie. I tell you, it's gonna knock your socks off. SOCKS. 18 points.
Honestly, sometimes I think before the comic books game was more escape of me. I really liked technology when I was in my 20s for sure.
Mhm.
I'm now becoming that kind of like, no, technology sucks because it's just
Yeah.
everybody's completely obsessed by it. You know, like to a point where you don't know what's there, you know, like for you kind of thing. So, but anyway, so Revival. So Revival is doing the same thing. I mean, they're doing kind of like their own take or TV show. I mean, not comic related, like there's comic book, everything going on. But they're changing some stuff, the way they're approaching the storyline. I think there's lots of things. I think in the comic book, you have to pace a little bit faster. So to get people engaged and readership continue coming. What I like, they're using creators, I think, points a lot.
Pedro Pascal is going to star in it. Yeah, triple word score.
My God, he's everywhere.
Scrabble, the movie, starring Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, so the man is like the number one in Hollywood now. Nobody else is available to be there. So I enjoy it so far. I'm excited. People are excited about it. I don't like that we call it zombies. I think creative team they were saying this is not really a zombie. Yes, they have got revived, but there is this particular reason why they awaken. And my husband keeps telling me, it's like, why are they awake? You know, tell me, you know, I know you read the comic books. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you don't know? You read it. It's like, yeah, but a decade ago I read those comic books. So please let my brain catch up. So actually, I'm starting to reread it as well, just to catch up. But what I remember is the sisters' relationship, which they kept quite intriguing. And so far, both of them are really good. Actors are great. It seems to be they picked really good actors in there. So like, in my opinion, I'm not a specialist, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. So far it's great. So and I'm excited because it's comic book related, and I'm actually not going like, I hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's exciting. Honestly, it's been talked about it a lot, about that comic book being on the screen, and now when you have it, it's kind of unbelievable. And I'm really happy for Tim Seeley and Mike Norton because they work their ass off. You know, like still they do. You know, and they're really good. What do you think?
I wonder what's going to happen with Sandman season 2. I know that it's been announced, and I'm curious to see that. And then I wonder when we're ever going to see Criminal is the other one that I'm very excited about. I'm very interested to see what happens with that one. Yeah.
So about Revival, what do you think? The first episode.
First episode seemed good. I mean, it didn't knock my socks off, but I enjoyed it enough, you know. But it's the first episode is always a little bit of like you're just getting introduced to the world, you're just getting introduced to the characters. The ending it definitely got more intriguing at the end, for sure, no doubt about it. The one thing that was confusing to me was about the sister, because it seemed obvious to me that she was dead, and then it was like this kind of big reveal at the end where I was like, oh, I didn't know that was supposed to be kind of a question thing. I just assumed that it was just common knowledge that she died. But yeah, I guess so that was an interesting little twist there.
Yes, she's Dana, so Winona Earp, I think she's Dana actress. Yeah, so she's very good.
Oh, yeah.
She has that kind of like a comedic / very serious moments, you know, like
definitely has a little bit of sparkle in it. Yeah,
and then you have like you can see she can clearly cry, and then she can clearly make like a proper face when she jokes and stuff like that, which is great. That's fantastic. So the sisters thing. So the younger one, she always, like in the comic book, that's what was her kind of. The first episode is kind of really T to a comic book. Whereas second episode, they will go a little bit the way they want it.
I see. Yeah, okay.
But the way you got the first episode is almost to a T, a comic book. You know, I was like, okay, I was like deja vu because I read it before the first, at least issue. I was like, wow, it's like really they went like almost point to point. you know, like maybe the way the chick, the crazy chick with the teeth was a little bit different slightly, but everything else was quite spot on. So the sister, she is always had been like, I didn't know that, honestly, maybe because it's been so long since I read the comic book, I didn't realize that she had like health issues. Honestly, I can't tell you for sure, even though I'm supposedly be a fan of it, of what I read. But in here, I like, she had that kind of mystery to her. Nobody knew what's going on with her because she's very moody. She's almost like teenage like kind of, but because now you kind of understand if she had this health problems, everybody was kind of surrounding her like a, you know, like a cracked egg, and nobody wants to break you anymore because otherwise, you know, something really bad happens.
Yeah.
But she is kind of like that goth-like thing happening to her. Like,
no, totally. And I mean, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong about this, but my assumption is that the teacher had something to do with her death, this one that she was having an affair with. But like I said, don't tell me yet. I'm sure it starts revealing itself. But that's kind of what it seemed to lead up to when they had that very, very awkward conversation where she went to see him and he told her to meet him, you know. So, but I guess I'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna like in 3 episodes. You got that teacher stuff as a kind of snippet. I think there's also there's lots of things in the background. You'll find out what really did happen. But yes, it's kind of intriguing, and how they're gonna like disclose that information. It will be very intriguing to see how much they will do in the season. I don't know how many seasons they actually have been agreed to do. I guess it all depends on this first season, because I don't know how the timeline will work. Because at the end of the day, we don't have that many comic books. I mean, there's quite a few of them, but I don't know how much the story will be stretched out. But so far, what they are doing seems to be they're going kind of like all over the place. Like they can be disclosing quite a lot of information, then they kind of teetering it away. Because there's one element of this revival yet I haven't seen it properly, the way we got information from the comic book, and we got that quite early, but they haven't yet shown the TV show. So I'm not sure, because there's the guy who's coming to do some, like take your, like somebody's possessed and he can.
Oh yeah. Do an exorcism.
Yeah. So there's kind of this element is a bit different in the TV show. So we'll see how's that gonna pan out. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so season 2. Yeah, season 2 is out already. I think so.
And I mean, as far as the Prophet, I mean, I think more than likely, unless he has some sort of back end deal, I think he's probably profited off this show already.
Yes.
But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it. But I do hear you.
Yeah, the show.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really liked the first season a lot, so I'm very curious to see where it goes.
What saddens me about this is that there's not only him who done this. There's lots of people behind him who worked, the artist who worked on Sandman. Don't forget people he basically got involved in. Just because of whatever he's done, they're gonna be losing out on a lot of things because of that disdain feel about Sandman. I honestly just watched like advertisement trailer on YouTube somehow, because YouTube comes up and doing all that stuff. It's exciting to look at it. It looks like they still kept that the same feel to it. I don't recall, to be honest, the first season how it ended, but I remember my favorite.
I vaguely remember. How many years ago was that? Now that was quite a few years. Was it pandemic that the first season?
Maybe people, maybe Damien or maybe Sean can tell us. Because I remember Death was my favorite character. That scene just destroyed me.
That episode was great. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that was great because it almost been like a comic book as well. So yeah, in that sense, I'm not sure. I don't subscribe to Netflix, so I don't know when I'm gonna see it. But
yeah, no, either do I. Yeah.
But lots
you
of
can download it easily.
Yeah. Delhi straight out of my mind there. Yeah. So yeah, it's intriguing. It's nice to see it. I mean, it's one of the shows which we're really excited about because of the comic related content. Was always great to see that in fruition as well. And they were taking their time, and the actors they picked really looked good. Like they really kind of sorted that out. So I'm excited, but not excited in the same way, because knowing that there's lots of people behind working him, that's what saddens me the most, that they're gonna basically get nothing from it really because of this.
Right.
Anyway, what's exciting? Nothing really related to anything I watched kind of intriguing to speak about. I watched House of Daggers after 20 years?
Okay.
Was it really 2003? I think, yeah, it was really 2003. And I watched it and I was like, wow, I knew why I liked that movie, because it was soundtrack related, really good. I love the music. And I think that is basically reminding me why I like the movie. Not that it's like it's Romeo and Juliet story, kind of thing. But it's just soundtrack was like giving me shivers. I have that spine tinklings, like we should love. Yeah, and the cinematography is spectacular. The color schemes they picked. You just popped the movie, and of course the movements of those like the way they fight, and the blades are like it vibrates. That is not like solid metal. And the way the fighting scenes are done, it's just so fluid, and it's like almost dance on the scenes rather than just fight ones. It's like really well done. And the sad story about that one. So there's two actresses. The first one, she died before the movie was released, and she died from the cervical cancer. But her sister, 3 years later, died at the same age as her sister from the same disease.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like, wow. So because they dedicated...
That's crazy.
They dedicated because she was a singer. They were singers as well, so they were dedication to her. I was basically looking in the background, and they both two sisters who one is an actress, both actresses, but they had really beautiful singing voice. And so one died 40 years old, cervical cancer. 3 years later, her sister turned 40 and died from the same disease. It's just
crazy.
It's just like, but kind of thing. You realize kind of like if you do a little bit more background search kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was interested. So yeah, that's my excited movie I watched. Really, nothing I remember. Oh, Star Wars Acolyte is back or is coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was the one that got canceled.
It got canceled. It got renewed again, kind of thing. So
really
announcing they're gonna make a new season 2.
Interesting.
Also, Star Wars related, apparently Andor gonna get a 3-hour worth of episodes. I'm not sure it's the season, whatever they call it, but apparently that's gonna be making works because Disney cannot release the money they made from Andor. Apparently, it was such a success and storyline that they're deciding to make more out of it. Something which the story's been already told, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
I mean, unless he's at the helm, the same guy whose name, of course, I'm blanking on it, Tony Gilroy.
No.
Unless Tony Gilroy's attached to it, I don't want anything to fucking do with it because it'll be a nightmare.
No, I think it's not the same directors.
Yeah. Then I don't want anything to do with it.
Because Tony Gilroy had an interview saying that he wasn't really into it at all, but he made a storyline and it just... It's like every Star Wars fan's minds that you can tell a story like that.
Well, because the interesting thing about it, and I mean, I've beaten this to death, but so I'll beat it to death just this little bit more, is that I think the thing, like, there's a misunderstanding with, I think, fans of stuff that someone creating something has to be an uber fan as well, and I find that's just wrong, because I think what Tony Gilroy was able to do was he enjoyed the movies, but the important thing was he took the nugget of what made those fucking movies so good, those original trilogy.
Yeah.
He took the core of what makes it so good and ran with that. And I think that he was able to really dig into the common thread throughout a bunch of the movies that worked for people, even though people got into the lore and then extrapolated from there. There's this really core of Star Wars that he locked into and just really went to. It's about this. I mean, Star Wars is about hope. Star Wars is about fighting against this evil, even though you don't think you can win. Like, that's what it's about. So he got that core and ran with it, and he did such a good goddamn job that I think that's why everybody responded to it so much, because it had the elements that were important with that original trilogy. it may have changed a bunch of the bells and whistles and all these other things. And of course, he had to throw in some references because he had to fit it in a timeline. So that stuff works as well. But he also had a great creative team because, I mean, even in the Rogue One movie, if you look at, like I've seen behind the scenes stuff with the art department, they went and they studied the original trilogy to such a degree that even on the elevators, they made sure that they matched the signs on top of, like, the lights on top of the elevators to the original trilogy. So they went deep into really dissecting all the design of the original movies and made sure that they incorporated it so it would feel part of that world, right? And that's all that stuff is what made it good. And he just told a goddamn good story, just a really intriguing story about revolution and, you know, like fighting the power and stuff, you know, which is, again, I would say that's the core of Star Wars, right? So just to kind of back up 1 second, though, Rebel Alliance feels more culturally significant to the real world right now. I love lightsaber fights, but we need hope more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Just to back up a second, you were talking music. The only thing that I'm looking forward to, which I don't know how I'm going to see it, there was a band from Texas. Too bad Gore Vidal is not in the chat here. From the 80s and into the 90s called the Butthole Surfers that I was a huge fan of.
Yeah.
They have a documentary that they've done, The Whole Truth and Nothing But. Yeah. Watch that trailer, especially if you know the band. Watch that trailer. It doesn't have a streaming release yet. It doesn't have a DVD or Blu-ray release yet. I cannot wait to see this documentary. These guys were insane. They were maniacs, and I cannot wait. That's the only thing on my to watch list. I think that's right at the top.
So not Superman movie coming up. You're not gonna run into that.
I mean, I'm probably gonna go see it. Aren't you gonna go see it? I think I probably will.
I'm trying to avoid all kind of the trailers. The only I told you trailer I watched is Lego based trailer based of the coming up movie, and I don't want to watch anything else. It's becoming flooded with the social media. I don't know, because maybe it's so much promotion going on. They're trying to push that out. The only thing I heard, which doesn't bode well, that they already have removed some content from the actual movie because the screening wasn't going really well. Specific scene, apparently. People
really?
was watching. I don't know if it's like socials. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if my information is complete, but this is what I've read, saying that they actually basically had to edit some stuff out. So that's intriguing. Apart of that, I'm trying to stay away because I wanted it to be like I would go and watch Christopher Reeves like acting Superman, kind of refreshing eyes. I've never went really to all the Superman stuff which came out in cinema first. I always watched in like at
Have
home.
You ever watched Smallville?
I watched Smallville. I
loved Smallville. That was one of my favorite shows for a long time, and I don't particularly like Superman. I don't really have any love for the character, but I loved Smallville so much.
I love that TV show. I think from all the TV shows which afterwards came, I watched once with the newest, that puff jacket Superman, I call it. Because
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that TV show, I watched one episode, switched it off. I actually watched more of Flash because there's Supergirl. I like the actresses they used. But I kind of want to go. I want to get excited. That's why I'm trying to prevent myself from watching stuff. But of course, social is very difficult because if you go on Instagram and blah, 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 blah. And my wife wants to go to watch Superman for a while.
Happy anniversary, first of all.
Yes.
My wife worked with Lana Lang, Kristen Kreuk from Smallville. So I met her very briefly. I met her, and I was a total gushing fanboy. It was all I could do. Not like, I love Smallville so much. Oh my God, you were my favorite. It was so great. Like it was pretty amazing to meet her, to be honest. So, and apparently, she says that she was an amazing woman to work with. She was incredibly nice, and yeah. It was
really good. Lex Luthor character was great. What is it?
It was all good.
Yeah, like everybody was questioning, actually, can you grow your hair because it felt so clean and anyway, it's really fantastic. Anyway, so I want to because I watched Howlerman's live chat with Gore and they were talking about Final Crisis. I read the Final Crisis. I think is the one he recommended. I can't guarantee it because sometimes my information gets like I'm going to write it on the piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
Finish the show, forget about it.
Yeah.
What is that he was recommending me? So I wanted to go straight away, if you don't mind, because while I'm
no,
fresh
go ahead.
in my mind, and because we
especially
were
because he's here in the chat now. So
yeah, and then so I wanted to see. I'll show it to you. Oh, is this the way? Yeah. So why is that thingy there? I don't like that. Anyway, sorry. So this is how the new technology works. Sometimes you just you have some of things. So this is the Final Crisis I read, Legion of Free Words. So I have not read any Crisis books, first of all. So this is my first story. I have not read many of Superman books, which I kind of Lego. So love it. So I decided I found this on digital format because there's lots of reprinted versions. This particularly hardcover is really hard to get to, by the way, Howler Mouse. So if you want to sell it, you're probably going to make quite a few pounds. And I like Geoff Johns' writing, so I thought, why not? I'm going to go for it. Another thing is, I'm very confused about Legion because they have so many characters. And honestly, when I start reading it, I got like, okay, can I keep up? Love the private covers, by the way. And of course, late George Perez was working on it still. So I'm not sure when it was released originally. Maybe Howlermans has can tell us. But so this story starts with a lot of information, and what is basically happening in here. The time traveling and very confusing also for me. But what I basically got to know a bad guy part of the Superman's world, the main guy. And maybe it's a bit of a spoiler straight away, but I have to tell you straight away because mentally that's what I like the most of the storyline. So Superman Supreme is the bad guy of the storyline. He is the one who is basically this little dude who comes in the time jumps. I think it ends up in the Smallville. The same story of origin, like you always know, right? Smallville. There's two Clark Kents there in the farm, but this guy doesn't mess around. And instead of saying hello, he gets really cross because he jumps into the time where Superman is being worshipped, like everywhere, like the worship of them all. Yeah, Super Prime. Yeah. Oh, it came out 2008. Wow, it's been wild. So he jumps into time and he comes into this world where Superman is completely, like there's altars to him. He hates everything. He goes into this museum where everything is based upon him. And you see Jimmy Olsen as a guide, a holographic guide, saying, oh, welcome, join me in this exploration of this museum, and I'm going to show you the beauty of Superman, kind of thing. And the Superman Prime was just getting so angry. He got just more furious with it because he thinks that he's the best one, like he's the one who's supposed to be everyone. And then he sees the Legion and everything and gets even more angry. And because of his inability to contain himself, the anger is so much more. He's just started to get crosser and crosser, and he starts basically tearing things apart. So the people who is in charge basically finds out there's a problem. There's this dude in here. We need to sort this stuff out. And his power is such to that extent that he basically freezes people out and shatters them to death. So this is kind of like introduction to the storyline. So, and it's just, and afterwards the Legion comes in. And then from there onwards, like, oh my God, thank God. I mean, they have this information things. Okay, they tell you each person all the time who they are. And then these three dudes who supposed to came into become what Legion known is the inspiration at the beginning, stepping stones of Legion, as far as I understood. So they are the ones who basically started that because they got inspired by Superman. Superman was they kind of like stepping stone for them to become what they were, kind of thing. And then from there they got these flight rings. They got everybody a flight ring, and then Legion started, as far as my brain comprehended that. And it's lots of actions, lots of things happening in here, and the Legion is trying to basically deal with situations, and then time jumping starts. And there's lots of information. They introduced 3 legions from 3 timelines, and they're trying to basically, because he's trying to tear everything apart, completely get rid of everything. So 3 timetable, like 3 legions from 3 dimensions basically has to come in, some sort of the problems, and they are looking for solutions, and not everything can happen. Another thing what's happening in the storyline, that actual Superman gets involved as well, because he's supposed to be the strong guy, and deal with that. But even the Superman honestly felt like he wasn't as a strong guy. And this is just a big, like, this is more storyline. I'm flipping through pages, like there's quite a few of them, but I'm going to jump into the stuff. So lots of things happening in here. What I really liked about it, I started to get to know the Legion more from this story by itself, and I kind of would like to get more out of it. Like, I would like to read more of them. But so many characters are really difficult to kind of move the story. You have to kind of, like, it's actually really good to read, I think, Legion in single issue format, because 1 month you can digest that, you get more information, so it continuously trickling down. But when you read everything in one go, sometimes I feel it's like too much. But
yeah, it's intense. Yeah.
But this comic book, what made me excited more is I kind of want to know more about Legion. I always did. I find that it's kind of intriguing what happens and how they deal with it. They have Brainiacs. They have 5 Brainiacs. Brainiac is another evil, but then in the future, in the years, whatever, 3000, he becomes a good guy. He's part of the Legion. So it's kind of intriguing. And of course, my favorite character was another Connor. He's a Superboy. Is that what is he called? So he's wearing this black T-shirt with a sign. He's a clone of Lex Luthor and Superman joined together.
Mm-hmm.
So they married those 2 DNAs, and one came out. And he is like a very kind of good guy at that. Well, there you go, Connor Kent. That's his name. So because I watched also the animated TV shows, so I think because I was watching, isn't he part of? It's not Teen Titan, but it's the other team member. Sorry, I'm blanking. All my information is trickling down. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is this: so much action, so much intrigue. Also, fascinating part is no more Green Lanterns. Okay, only one dude left, because apparently our Superboy Prime loves to kill Green Lanterns. He gets so cross with them, and he needs to publicly annihilate them. There's this scene, of course, I'm not going to find in here, where there's this graveyard of rings, and there's one Green Lantern left to stand there. And they basically try to convince this dude, which is the last Green Lantern, to fight with them, because they don't know what to do. Because they're losing the point. Like, how can we defeat somebody that strong? Even they're pulling the informations together. Oh, there you go. Young Justice. That's the team he was part of. Mm-hmm. So pulling everything together, and Green Lanterns, like basically one Green Lantern left, and he's the only one. And he's like, okay, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm just trying to make sure that this Green Lantern thing actually still kind of kept to be alive. But it's like, what's the point being there? There's nobody else to support you, kind of thing. So this grand fight starts, and lots of battles, lots of death. He kills so many characters in here, the Superboy Prime. I was like, wow, how many you have left? But then clever part happens right at the end of the story, which I absolutely liked. So they used another time travel. Also, the Kid Flash survived. Like, they went to jumping back, like timelines. That's the thing. When you jump back in time, they managed to somehow do something with the past. So he survives, because apparently he's the only one who's basically can distract Superboy Prime as well. So it's lots of, as I say, sorry, I'm maybe a bit lost in here. I'm trying to comprehend. What I'm trying to say is, love the storyline. I like the ending. Mm-hmm. I like the way it's Starman character here introduced to us. Another character I probably would like to find out more about and read more about. So a lot of for me explore. So thank you, Tim, for basically saying, read this one, why not, and see how you feel about it. And it's kind of nice too, because maybe before like a movie, get more excited about Superman and reading more of the stories like that. So magic involved also. So there's lots of things going on in this one.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, probably for stuff like this, it is good to kind of just jump in somewhere too, right? Like,
exactly.
You may as well dive in and you'll figure it out, kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. And I was like, I read it really, it took me quite a while to read this whole thing. It's 165 pages, but I took my time. because, as I say, so many characters, so many things happening. It's very high-end action. I really like that George Perez was still involved. He's done quite a lot of art in here. Apparently, it does look like a lot of stuff, but of course, lots of people worked on this to finish, I presume. But it feels entertainment, like proper super action, like superhero actiony stuff, like all of them pulling together to defeat one guy. But how they defeated, which I'm not saying, because I don't know, maybe 2008 is quite a long time since people read, but how he got defeated is by himself. His own self basically defeated him. So it's intriguing, because everybody was saying, so who's be stronger than Superman? There's not enough bad guys, but it seems to be Superboy Prime. It's a prime.
He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah, his own worst enemy, but he can do a lot of damages to all of the surrounding universe of DC, for example. So if he can kill every Green Lantern if he feels like it, none of the rings basically do anything to him. He just breaks loose. Is that amped up anger of his, the way he's been in here written, it's just absolutely destroys everything. And of course, he has the bad guys who is supporting him and making him work towards this kind of thing. And he himself, from the future, decided to put himself there. And then his plan really shattered. And Brainiac 5, I think, is the one who's basically managed to get this plan all sorted. So it's intriguing what I'm saying. And it's fantastic to read, to be honest. And I want to read more Legion. So anybody can recommend more Legion so I can understand it better. I know it's a bit of a rabbit hole even for myself, but I honestly probably would be fascinated to read it. And Jeff Johns' writing, must say, still like his writing a lot. And I've been reading his Green Lantern slowly.
Green Lantern,
which is a lot of work, because he has 4 worth of omnibus material.
Wow!
So it's been 10 years.
Holy shit!
At least of work he done because he was doing Green Lantern for DC for at least a decade for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think I think he did it after New 52. I don't know. Timeline is a bit shoddy for me, but what I've read of his Green Lantern, I loved. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I like the Green Lantern generally, and so far where I am in Omnibus is fascinating, because there's like when you read one collected edition, it's not sporadically, it's kind of timelined to how it's supposed to go, what his intentions were in the whole 10 year of material. So you follow it through it, and you're like, oh my god, there's so many things I have missed out on Green Lanterns, and it's fascinating. Well, another thing what fascinates me as well, because Superman movie has Nathan Fillion as a douchebag Green Lantern in there.
Yeah. It's Guy Gardner.
Which is not my favorite Green Lantern to pick on, and he's wearing he's going to have that bow 90s haircut, which is that's he's even appears somewhere. Where does it appears? Does it appears in Legion? This other one, which I have not finished, so I'm not sure if I want to.
Guy Gardner was in the Human Target series as well that Smallwood was doing.
Yeah.
I love Nathan Fillion so much. I'm excited to see him in that.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to see how it goes. I saw there's like even like they pushing it so hard. They're showing the costumes. The costumes looks a bit weird what they chose to be. I really don't know what the storyline is gonna. I'm just gonna wait until the movie comes out and get excited about that. Love him, hate him tends to write cinematically, yes. So his comics feels like movies and TV shows. I agree. It's quite a expansive and excitable universe he's trying to build out. One of them, my favorite. And you don't fall asleep while I talk.
No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm awake. I promise. I am tired, but I'm awake.
I cannot wait to the world to be introduced to
Yeah, Tim's favorite character. Yeah.
Guy Gardner, man. I always wanted to get. I thought it's the only first Green Lantern appearance I will have in my collection, and of course I don't have it because it just went skyrocketing in price, as all comic books do. One Punch.
You got me on that one. Yeah, I don't know the character at all. I'm assuming he has some sort of one punch thing, or maybe he gets punched out or something. Who knows?
I'm not sure about. Is it One Punch Guys the manga? Is that what you're referring?
There's a One Punch Man manga. Yeah.
Anyway,
but I'm assuming either in the comics, Guy Gardner gets knocked the fuck out by one punch, or he one punches someone. But it's an interesting idea to have Nathan Fillion playing such a kind of. I mean, a little bit that I know about that world of comics, I do know enough that Guy Gardner is pretty much hated across the board. So,
well, he is a so when Hal Jordan, was the only Earthman, Green Lantern, they decided to get Guy Gardner as a spare because he was so Hal Jordan was so busy and doing all this stuff. They decided that we have another Green Lantern. And he but he is the one. So when you see him in 90s, he wears this biker jacket, Green Lantern, with the Grand logo on the back, and with a huge bell buckle, like almost Batman bell buckle, and the bow thingy. But when he was in the actual Silver Age Green Lantern appearances, he was just a douche. Like the Bronson. It's just like everybody was saying, like, he always outspoke too much. He was outdoing everybody. He's saying, no, I'm the best Green Lantern on earth, not Hal Jordan. So they have been bickering around. And then he has some limelights. Honestly, he's underrated character who can actually, if they used properly, I think you can flourish him to become more than Hal Jordan can be. For example, of course, there's always possibility with any character if you give him enough time. But yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman.
I see.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Batman and Guy Gardner has always been like never getting along.
Right.
But I read somewhere he's not as stupid as everybody is thinking he is, because it's all about brawn. He's always first in fight. He always thirsts to do everything. He like shove everybody behind. Look at me, I'm here. I'll protect you all. And it doesn't work for him all the time. But there's lots of things happening. Like I'm reading now this omnibus where Guy Gardner and what is that artist? Green Lantern. I forgot his name. Anyway, another one who is basically getting the proper limelight where it deserves, like to give them a bit more room to show that these characters are worth being there, and that's why they need to be part of the storyline. So it's intriguing, it depends. Okay, your turn to marvel us with your comic book reading experience.
I mean, I think since we're talking superheroes, I may as well
you have something superhero, really? Do you have time for that?
Yeah, I do. Of course I do. I've got
Martian, there you go.
Bloody Manhunter, don't I? In it. Martian Manhunter in it.
NAA.
So I think there was 2 issues since last we spoke.
Wow,
issue 3.
Wow.
This is the Ian Bertram cover.
That's why I was like, what is this?
Yeah. So that's the Ian Bertram for number 3, and then just the regular cover for number 4, which side by side are pretty good damn covers, actually. Yeah. This one, I mean, it'll be one where I don't have a ton to say about it, other than this book just keeps impressing me. And I think one of the things that really struck me this time is that, as kind of like graphic and designy as his art is, and sometimes you'll open a page to just an incredible layout, what I kind of started to sink in with this one is his storytelling from panel to panel is really, really nice. It moves in a kind of, not quite like dreamlike isn't the right word, but there's a certain flow to, and of course, speaking of the Superman movie, of course, they're going to do a crypto comic. There's a really nice flow to the storytelling from scene to scene, from day to day, from location to location. This issue is really pointing out the cracks in his personal life and our main character's personal life with his wife, and kind of their marriage starting to dissolve because he's never around and he's very dedicated to his job. He's really in tune with the Martian Manhunter now. And there's now this white Martian also that is kind of causing people to do some horrible things. It's such a good book. I'm loving every single issue. I love the art so much. I love the coloring. Like I said, I don't know if I have a ton to say about it other than that, which all of that seems pretty obvious. But, here, there's even almost some like Guido Crepax kind of vibes to it, you know, like that's almost a Valentina type of pose and layout, right? So there's a really beautiful bit of work here. And even just looking at these pages again, I mean, going from that previous page to this color to, you know, almost Daniel Clowes type of limited color palette, and really, really great stuff. And just a good story too. I mean, the Martian Manhunter in here, again, I haven't read a ton of Martian Manhunter stories. I don't know. I love this too, just no holding line and stuff, and kind of playing with just primary colors and things.
Very good.
There's just it's an intriguing character. You know, I know him from like Last Frontier and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know tons about the character outside of that. So it does feel like a unique way to kind of deal with the character, where it's not so much that he's taking over someone's body and becoming them. It's like he's incorporating with them. So they kind of become one person. It's almost like a Spectre type of relationship that the Spectre has with Corrigan, James Corrigan, right? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yes.
So a neat kind of way to play that out, but just a joy to read every time. So I'm glad that it's one of the bonuses of not going to the comic shop every week. You sometimes get backed up a little, so then you get to read 2 issues back to back, which is a nice way to do it. But damn, that Bertram cover, man, like that's golden. It's really, really nice. So
so
that's all that I got to say about that.
So the thing is, who's the wife then? Because is it just like it's a new thing? So is it what a new creative team trying to do with a Martian Manhunter, and that he's?
I mean, again, it's hard for me to say, because I don't know in the originals who Martian Manhunter kind of took over or became. Again, I only know the Last Frontier stuff, where the scientist who kind of discovered it died, and then he took over that person's body. So this is just a cop, as far as I know. This is a character that doesn't have a history in DC Comics, but again, I could be 100% wrong about that, because my knowledge on it is just not that deep, right? So, I mean, maybe someone else knows if anybody else is reading it, but again, based on like Zatanna from the previous from last year, that was the reason why I wanted it, was because of his art, Rodriguez's art, and it's a joy. It's a really, really good book. Really, really fun.
Cool. I like every single time you show those pictures. It's like, but I know it's only 12 issues, because it's supposed to be only 12 issues, right? Because like maxi series for what DC usually have, isn't it? It's like you gonna
get something like that. Yeah.
But it's been advertised as 12 issues. No, because I don't know how popular. I presume it's quite popular, because people are very surprised the way it's been dealt with, especially art-wise. I think it's the winner and stuff. So I'm excited to see it in the collected edition, honestly, because as I say, do you remember? So I decided to get that Corbin book rather than getting into this Martian book, because it's just like, it's kind of cheaper, honestly, to get the collected all and read it all in a whole chunk. Finally finishing the whole chunk. So I've been talking about this when I went to Comic Book Mart, and I found this Justice Society.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And finally, I managed to have the whole time to finish all. So this volume has only 10 issues. So I read issues 5 to 10 to finish it all off. And damn, it was going from strength to strength. So the first 4 issues was introduction, because the Justice Society members are coming back because they were in dimensional disappearance, and they are coming back being older, but still back to kind of being part of the world again. And then, but they are pensioners, and the whole thing of this kind of volume was how, if the aged superheroes are still able to withstand being superheroes, or they have to retire. And honestly, the writer, whose his name is Len Strazewski, he was convinced by a friend to be a comic book writer, and he was invited to do the storyline. There's a words at the end of the issue 10 saying, okay, we're sorry, this is ended, but it seems to be that was just our end for the storyline, and they rounded off the story really well. But it kind of like, the more I was reading of it, the more I think it would have gone really well to understand these characters more. I always, as I say, I like teams. What's which fascinating about this is the team which actually was the first team for DC who actually had this popularity where everybody was looking at. But now it is barely existing in nowadays DC, because it seems to be Justice League is more important because they have characters like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman who are taking such a big limelight, and this Justice Society members are not needed anymore in DC universe. But they have their own personalities, and they have a lot of like backgrounds, like origin of Green Lantern, origin of Flash, all of his characters who is there. Then you have Hourman, then you have the guy, I keep on blanking his name. I don't know why, the fighter guy. The Catman, isn't it? What his name? Then you have Flash coming in there, the newer versions, because they have this meta ultra humanoid ape who's basically a villain who has been on wants to live forever. So he's using animals as a experiments, and they becoming to live forever. And then they deciding to basically have the last fight and deal with the situations, but they are surprising themselves for managing to defeat everybody, even though it's becoming much harder to deal with situations like these, because you need more kind of like oomph, not no more being a pensioner's age, kind of what they finding it. But what is this whole story was going for is that they are trying to just find the footing back, like when you disappear forever and you basically from get-go decides that you should be just getting on with the stuff, and you forget that they were superheroes before they disappeared. And I think this is the way DC's editorial decided how to completely get rid of it. So they punch them into dimension, forget about them completely, and resurrect them when they feel like resurrecting them. So this is what Justice Society has been dealing with since, I think. But it's kind of interesting, and I was wondering while I was reading this, would a Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman's team of Justice League of America would have the same treatment in the future? I'm not sure if, because of Batman has been, on pedestal for so long, Superman is kind of trailing behind a little bit. Will they disappear completely as a team? But I've heard that people who ever read Justice League of America books, whatever they're coming now or before, they're still enjoying them a lot. I would be very intrigued to read this. Apparently it did came out. So Batman Blue Gray Bat.
Yeah,
it's written by Elliot S. Magan, Alan Dice, and art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. So that's the only thing. Yeah. I will be more intrigued. So I already looked on eBay if it's available. It actually happens. So I already looked. I like reading books like that because those ads reminds you of what it used to be there. So this book is just as I went from, like they trying to deal with situations. There's the biggest baddie behind. They also talk about Nazis and their involvement, of course, because this is the team when the Nazis, they were fighting Nazis in the original time. I love the splash pages. It looks fan-bloody-tastic.
Sorry, who's the artist on these?
Oh, the artist is Mike Parobeck.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Parobeck. And
it's funny. Great. It looks so much like the animated series stuff. It looks it's a good looking book.
I wanted to tell you because it looks exactly like that. It has that, those facials. I think the ones we actually enjoyed thoroughly from DC, how they do the animated series. Another thing is intriguing. While this series was coming out, they were preparing for Superman's death. They were announcing all that books in comic books in the ads. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you that. But this was so enjoyable. They're going to this island in this one because there's this people disappeared from the island, completely wiped out all the people, completely not existing, and come to find out of the storyline that this guy who's looking for a place of heaven. There's no problem with taxes, the clean streets, the workers are all happy, everybody's taken care of like a haven, and you come to find out that he's the one who's hiding them in the basement and treating them like a like a Nazi, for example. let's say they, so it's kind of intriguing on that sense. This storyline in this one, and you kind of find out more and more about the characters. You give them like, you know, like one who is always angry because his wife is no more here. Some of them have their wives. Another ones are kind of like just, you know, like, should I give up already? I know everybody's looking to me as I am the one who is going to be like unneeded anymore. You know, like they really struggling with the existent part of it. And then of course the one of the, or I'm just going to jump into the last when, oh yeah, there's the that's a Green Lantern we know.
Yeah, there's Guy Gardner, yeah.
Yep, there you go. So he's fighting the original Green Lantern, and he's saying to him that he's better than the original Green Lantern, and he's like, "I don't understand this. How do you manage to like defend yourself? You're the old guy, kind of thing." And he's like, "What a douchebag," you know, like, so he's not really doing his own service really well. So at the beginning of this actual volume, you have a storyline where Hawkman and Hawkgirl, because they are going into Egypt and all the areas to explore tombs and stuff like that, they apparently the things which they have uncovered was the major plan of one of the villains who's using the magic in order to destroy the world and taking everything over. So basically we managed to round up, and this is the beginning of that story. Actually, can I show you the tomb, the discovery, or is it in the next comic? I think it's in the next one, because this is where I want to show it to you, the Guy Gardner, the way he looks. Look at him. It's like
that fucking bowl haircut, man. It's just intense.
So he's gonna be and there you go, the big fight, and he's using yellow nice. Ring, which is Yellow Ring is the bad guys from Green Lantern afterwards now in Judge Jones era. Well, the guy who was in coma for years and is actually has brain damage. Yeah. So anyway, so this bad guy who is basically the god, he tries to take over the world, and how he tries to, well, look, he gets punched again. Look, by the Green Lantern. His own kind of members, like, you douche, like he punched the whack him, like he couldn't believe that he got punched so badly by the original Green Lantern, because the original Green Lantern, he's you know, like he is the one who's actually have still enough power. So this is the bad guy of the last couple of issues. He jumped in time also, which is funny. Like lots of books I was reading kind of jumped time, but he jumped in time. He back in time. So he was one of the Egyptian gods. Decided to what he had the plan of. He's going to bury himself because he knew that Hawkman and Girl finally going to go an expedition and cover him and wake him up, because he has this eye. It's funny, those eyes, and I freak me out sometimes. So he had this high power. So, and that's what happens. Basically, he gets awakened, and then the Hawkman and Hawkgirl basically being taken over by him, because what his power is completely susceptible to his ideas. So they mangled their brain completely, made them kind of zombified, and they, whatever he was commanding, because he's using magic, whatever he commanded, they were just doing it. So what they done is they spread the world into the news media. Of course, this is what you do: brainwash people, put it on the telly, so everybody's going to watch it.
Yeah, right.
And then tell them that Justice League Society is douchebags and they're Nazis, and they were actually, why they were disappeared, they were in Russia. Right. Because they came back, because, you know, not everything, the plan didn't pan out. So they were in Russia, not they were disappearing in some sort of dimensional place. So this is what the great plan. And of course, thankfully, it didn't survive. But the way, you know, I need to put that in. But the way that everything is, you know, you have those cuckoo guys with the guns comes in to kill everybody. But, you know, at the end of the day, they are superheroes, and you can't just deal with them in that kind of fashion. Oh, this is the best ad. Be Batman's boss. Now, you can be named a publisher of DC comic books. Be Batman's boss for a day. Imagine that, man. As a child, it's just like, so man. Simon gets to be in this He's the saving grace of Justice Society in this last issue. And the way this guys deal with the magic, they couldn't deal properly with him because he was just like too much power for them. But honestly, all those faces are just reminiscing of all that TV
it's
shows.
Just so good. Yeah, it's so good.
It's so nice to see.
Makes me want to read all that stuff again.
I know.
For the umpteenth time.
I highly recommend. This is so cheap. This is the grand plan. It shows you what he has done in order to survive himself. Because Justice Society of America, they decided that this is actually Golden Age villain. So of course I haven't read the Golden Age Justice League Society. So apparently this is the villain they had before, and that's how they dealt with him. They put them into past, and then his grand plan to survive is to be revived in the tomb and be excavated by the Hawkman, Hawkgirl. It's really cool. It's so much action. There's lots of care and attention given to them, and of course they are pensioners. Don't forget. So like nobody cares anymore. You're done. You have your limelight. Go sit down and enjoy yourself. But what do you do with yourself? Like when you come back, and it's lots of things like that given to them. But it's really nice. It's lots of action. Once again, they can do whatever they do. They have their own villains, and the way they end it. They sat down at the table and decided that this is their plan. They're gonna have another go to be members of like superhero group. So they decided that they want to do it. And there's the page here where the writers actually have to tell how he came to be a writer of comic book, this series. That a friend convincing him to do that. Also, he was talking about his inspiration. He was reading comic books as a child. He always been fascinated by stuff like that, and he just wanted to give somebody who would be of age as a superhero, because I think there's always a question like that: what would happen if the superheroes would age, and what you can do with them? So, yeah, it's really cool. No regrets whatsoever. So 10-issue volume 3, I think it's called. So highly recommend. Buy them in cheap bins for sure. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like if funny the way that story was saying about the blonde people and blue eyes. When I was actually
like both of my kids.
Well, there you go. So I am my dad when he was born. He was blonde, blue eyes. And then, of course, aged and turned to brown eyes and real dark hair. Just the way what you see here. When I was born, when I went to class, I remember that clearly. Somebody telling me I look like trash because I'm all brown eyes and brown hair. This is how kids used to deal with you. Like, oh, excuse me, or what? Just because I have a brown eyes and brown hair, I'm not good enough. And the girl who was talking, of course, she was blonde and blue eyes. And then since that day, I was hating blonde girls.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna let any blonde to talk to me like that. Kind of thing. I'll prove you wrong, kind of thing. So it's funny, but yeah. Anyway, Nazis, nothing to joke around about. But yeah, highly recommend people. Justice Society Volume 3. It's actually really cool. Honestly.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun, honestly, and that art style draws me in big time.
I love that. It's right up my alley, that kind of art style as well for DC comic books as well. Okay, your turn.
If it's okay, I'll do a couple of short ones because they're short kind of talks. One that I got today. Found another in the Tundra sketchbook series. This is issue number 9. I think there was 12 of them total. So this is the Michael Dooney one, and it's great. I mean, all of the, again, the logo of quality right there. Anything Tundra, don't hesitate. But this one is great because he's got his character Gizmo, but he also there's a whole bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff in here. So
yeah, I saw it already.
Dooney was doing a bit of design for the Ninja Turtles toy line as well too. So when you get into these like convention sketches and things like that are super cool.
Space Ghost as well.
And then he shows kind of his layout process of doing an issue. But the coolest part was all of this stuff here, starting on this page. So doing the toy design layouts and going through different looks and different accessories and making notes for things.
Wow.
So he shows this a number of times with a whole bunch of characters. Super, super fun. Really just, you know, great poses. Yeah, I mean, this sketchbook series, even when it's artists that I'm maybe not as familiar with, they're presented really, really nicely in this kind of square bound format. So it's unusual to see these pop up. So they had a few other ones, but the other ones he had in the shop were ones that I already had. So I left those behind. The Michael Zulli one was there. The price on his too were like, these were like $6. I think the Zulli one was $8. Not that it's unreasonable. But you know, I would have bought them all if they were like $2 a piece. I would have just grabbed them all.
You have to pick on what you
at
want.
$6 or $8 a piece.
But you have Zulli ones, don't you?
I do, yeah. But I mean, with stuff like that, it's always good stuff to send to you or to give away to people, right? Like when there's stuff, especially when they're cheap, you know, it's hard to pass that stuff up because it seems a shame to leave it there. So that was one thing I picked up today. One that I picked up about a week ago.
Serenity
hardcover. Speaking of Nathan Fillion, there he is right there. So this is Those Left Behind, and the great thing about this one is this is Joss Whedon writing it. So this is the first 3 issues of Those Left Behind miniseries. I don't have all of the issues, so again, nothing much to say. You know that I'm a total fanboy for this stuff, but this was really great. There's an introductory write-up by Nathan Fillion talking about his love for comics and how now seeing himself in comics is just an incredible thing. So, and what makes it so good is because it's still Joss Whedon's voice in this. So it feels like a natural continuation of the show. It is wild that they only do 3 issues in a hardcover collection when you probably could have collected this entire miniseries in 1 book, more than likely. But you know, you got to cash in somehow, I suppose. And then at the back, there's design stuff for the show and things, which is kind of cool. So just kind of paintings and illustrations for some of the vehicles and ships and stuff. I think there's even one about Serenity. Some character design stuff too for the costume design, that sort of thing. I thought there was a design for the Serenity ship as well. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Right at the end. So kind of drawing of the Serenity ship. So yeah, that was super, super cool. But the one I'll talk about in more detail, I found the 2nd issue of it today. So Charles Burns X'd out, and then there's The Hive, which I found today, and then there's a 3rd book, and I don't remember the name of it. So this is one that I've heard about for quite a long time.
Me too.
And I've seen around here and there, but I've never really dug into it. It's his version of kind of like a Tintin story. The main character is named Nit, N-I-T-N-I-T. So
Nit.
Yeah. So this was a gift.
Oh, so Tintin backwards, right?
Sorry, say that again.
Tintin backwards.
Yeah, Tintin backwards, exactly. Yeah. And he looks like a bit like Tintin with the haircut and stuff. It's good. I mean, the Charles Burns stuff that I've read is generally pretty dark. This seems to have a little bit of that style going for it, but it's a little bit different than some of the other books that I've written. This one, especially because I started reading book number 2 when I got home, there's a real kind of layering of characters. So it's almost like some of the characters are reading a comic that are about these characters. There's almost like there's 4 main characters. There's 4 different realities in this. And then, of course, it's accentuated with the fact that you're also reading it in a comic. So there's a lot of references to people reading stories and characters in stories as you're reading characters in stories, right? So a little bit of that going on. But beautiful art, really nice storytelling, just a very kind of surreal kind of what's reality kind of thing, right? It's like you're never really sure what the real world is within any of this stuff. It seems to really kind of blend back and forth. And there's definitely some darkness going on, some, you know, as usual with Charles Burns stuff, there's always an underlaying kind of dread or something. Yeah. And even one of the characters wears a mask that looks like the character that we saw at the beginning. So it added extra confusion, added extra layers.
Yeah.
So super cool. And then finding this second book today, he's in this world and he discovers something called the Hive. So now he's gone to work at the Hive in this second book, or one of the characters has gone to work at the Hive.
Ooh,
and one of the women that he's attracted to is reading this story, this serialized story. He works in the library and he's finding books specifically for her. And he's getting in shit for, you're supposed to be working, you're not supposed to be reading picture books. But he's finding these issues for her so he can bring them to her so she can read in bed while she's sick. She's in a wing of this Hive where something horrible has happened. We don't know what yet. But something horrible has happened where it's locked down. You shouldn't be there. It's super cool, man. His art is gorgeous. All of this stuff, and again, like the fabrics and things, he has a real knack for like drapery and things, right?
Those thread hair is like flowy, man. Then he does that inking lines. That's just like natural looking stuff. No,
and then that seems to me a very famous kind of Charles Burns pose. Those two panels there, I don't know. There's something about it. The angle of the camera for this one and kind of the head tilt there, they really seem to be very much Charles Burns. So she kind of sits down with him and starts telling him the story that she's reading, giving him the backstory. That's kind of as far as I've gotten in this one, but I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I don't remember what the third book was called. This volume is from 2013, I think. And book number 1 was 2011, so quite an older series. And again, it's one that I've always known about, but I've never jumped into it for some reason. But so there you go. So Charles Burns.
I always see those in the library, but I always never everything else is I pick up, but not that. So if I see it again, I guess I'm gonna, because I really like the way he does the inking lines. I think it's one of the best. Those hair stuff is and all it's so nice, flowing, and it's just feels natural. And those black.
Well, and they're nice. They're nice volumes too, right? Like they're the kind of European size. They're nice big volumes. And this is the only way they got printed, as far as I know. I don't think they ever got completed or collected into one volume. I think they were just in 3 volumes from Pantheon Press. So, good sized books too.
Cool. So, another influenced by Mr. Tim's chat with Gore Vidal, they were talking about what not only.
Oh, nice! Yeah, sweet.
Well, I was saying to them, but because I started when I found this volume, so this is one of the first phone book volumes I found of Cerebus, because I always never seen the singles. I only saw this ones. I usually saw them in the middle of something. Very good thing to tell you, the timeline is actually the back of the book to know exactly how they went and blah blah blah. But they were telling, because I read it, but I've never finished it all because I got distracted by my basically reading from the new comic books. But then I was chatting with together. They were talking about this book in particular. So I found the phone book. They were talking Jacka's Story.
Yeah, Jacka's Story. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've started reading that as well.
So they said to me, if you want to go into Cerebus and don't want, because there's so many books, there's 300 odd issues of this original run. So if you wanted to get basically understanding kind of Cerebus or his world, Jacka's Story would be the one basically you should go for. I have not finished. I'm going slowly with it because there's quite a bit of reading, to my surprise.
It's wordy as hell, yeah.
Yes, because you have a lot of content in this one. Because I don't know if that came to be, but she was, as Timmons was saying, so you have this nuggets of information here, so you get all her background, her childhood, the way she can end up being in this hill in the pub, or living upstairs, where she's a dancer to make money, and she has this loser of husband. That's what it feels like he is. He's the only one who goes out. She keeps on telling him to get a job, and he just ignores, and he goes in and says apologizes to her and blah. Anyway, the relationship looks quite strange. Anyway, so what they say is to go for that, and I really enjoyed it. I read, so when I started phone book Cerebus, she got introduced quite quickly, Jacka. And I felt like because it's a female character, it's much easier as a female, kind of like get to understand and get to kind of interested in the book first place. But I didn't realize this phone book has lots of material to read, which takes time, okay, because I wanted to understand. But it's given so much attention and care into how to do the story altogether. It's like her child onwards, and slowly we kind of understanding where she's why she's so important part of Cerebus kind of life. And so that's why I'm taking my time to read it. The comic parts, of course, very easy, breeze through quite quickly, like understanding what's happening. But they live together. It's kind of miserable. She's basically making all the money by dancing in the pub. She has the same conversation with the owner, saying, hello, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. Kind of like this kind of like a story. The art is beautiful, by the way.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. So, and then of course you have Cerebus comes in, because apparently he left her behind. She's supposedly, that's the location of the place where they live. That's not very, looks very lonely, but apparently they are above the most populated city in the world of Cerebus, and he was the mayor of that, and he basically ends up coming back, and that's the places where they are. They even have a church, the pub, and everything in one little top of like a edge of the hill kind of thing. So he's pondering into the house, comes in there, looks for her. This is the pub owner. They're having this kind of like looked at each other, not saying anything, because he was a mayor. He apparently has the pass for anything, and he always have problem having a drink. That's the only thing I remember about Cerebus. Now, please explain to me what the hell those rings are in Cerebus, because they look like a Thor rings in the old school armor. But of course, that's not. He's a pig at the end of the day. But what are those rings? Do you know what they are?
No, I'm not sure.
Is it just because it's like the way because he's a pig and that's how, I don't know, his things. But the one thing which fascinates me, black and white Cerebus, is how much detail there's in every single panel. There's so much scratch lines. There's so much every single one line is meant to be to disclose information. Also, Cerebus has that old school that like the film they use from in manga as well to get that the same
the zip tones and stuff, screen tones,
screen tones and stuff like that. So they're using of that. He also says in here, I think you already thanking the person who's working with him. What's his name? Harold. Gerhard, there you go. Gerhard, he's the one who's doing all the backgrounds, apparently, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So he said, because of him, you have this beautiful thing, and they wanted to give so much attention to Jacka and how important she was part of it. And honestly, I'm intrigued. I really don't like the husband of hers, first of all and foremost. I don't know whatever it kind of doesn't have much of personality. He always tries to get her attention and affection from her, but she always looks for that attention and affection when she's basically knackered from the work when she done beforehand. Also, this awkwardness with Cerebus and her, because apparently that being pregnant and she's not pregnant anymore. What happened to the child? I'm not sure really. Did she miscarried? Do you know that?
I believe so from my memory. It's been a while since I've read some of it. And then also the fact that Cerebus is madly in love with her too, right? Like he's
but the way he's trying
head over heels.
Yeah, but the way he's trying to be at the moment, at the beginning of this, what is written, he's trying to play cool kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like just listening, so he's really knackered. Apparently, he goes in. They give him space to stay. The pub owner saying, "No worries, you can stay here with us." He's been sleeping for 48 hours, but instead of sleeping, he's basically listening to all the conversations Rick and Jacka is having of their marital things. He's feeling a bit awkward because he probably knows the background story of Jacka and Cerebus. a little bit of he has some sort of idea. He's kind of a jealous person in here. You're just seeing like he's trying to be loved up, and she has like glass look on her face, not enjoying whatever is happening in here. And then apparently, like one thing surprising about her, so she was of the wealth. She lived in this great mansion with a maid basically bring her up to be what she is. She got into lots of trouble. She almost died in one moment, which was a fascinating story she was telling. Anyway, a lot of things happening in here. So far, I'm intrigued. Of course, I want to end this to understand fully. Am I enjoying this more? I'm still looking, like vaguely looking to see if I want to get hold of all the Cerebus phone books, but I'm looking for Steel. So this cost me less than a tenner just to get it. So it's good. cheap. And I bought it online. I got it really quickly as well, delivered. So yeah, as I say, I'm very interested in this, but there's lots of back matter to read. So I want to kind of like, don't rush it, because sometimes you miss the details when you do. But so far I'm intrigued, and yeah, it's great. She was very happy to see Cerebus when he came and stuff like that. What the hell? Hello,
Mr. Earl Grey. How you doing, man?
So yeah, Jacka, it's very good so far.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot to go, but we'll see how it goes. Go on.
It took me a while to find, but I got all the single issues of it.
You did?
And the single issues are extra intriguing because they have like kind of like fronts from Sim himself. And I think at the time he was going through a breakup of a relationship. So there's some where it's quite a treatise that he's writing, and then there's some where it's like basically doom and gloom, and there's like one sentence at the beginning. So it's really interesting to match what he was going through at the time in his own personal life, and then starting to read it. But honestly, one of the things that kind of took me away from it, because I was really enjoying it, I started feeling like it was a real chore to read all that text, because there was so much text. Not that it wasn't rewarding when you read it. It's just I have to be in a pretty specific mindset to kind of dig into that. But I read, I don't know how many issues, quite a few of them. It took a long time to find each of the singles, though. The phone books I find every once in a while, but they're not as cheap as what you found that one when I found them. You know, they're a bit pricey.
So both of these. So when I got this one was a Steel also. I don't think I paid more than 10 on this as well. So I'm looking for that. One of the more expensive ones is Church and State book.
Yes,
one. The High Society is quite not easy to find, and Church and State is not the most easiest ones. So I always want to.
Yeah, that's right. Who wants to read? We want pictures. We want cartoons. Damn it. I read enough in my day.
Yeah, so I wanted to get into, like, I always...
Bam, pow.
Yeah, I want to always been curious about this, but I always want to have more of material before I kind of commit to all of it. Just having one, because then it would be very frustrating if I finish and I really thoroughly enjoyed it and it's like, okay, I'm done with it. Maybe I should do that anyway, but like this is going to be... it was recommended. I got a hold of it. I'm gonna go for it this one, see how I feel afterwards. If it's enough for me, understanding what Cerebus was for me, from this only, and I can just read this one and I'll be satisfied in all. But of course, that's the beauty. I can also get another one and see more. So what I got me confused is when I remember looking for single Cerebus. The only ones I used to find was Cerebus Weekly, and I didn't understand what the hell is going on there.
Right.
Well, what was? Is it part of that?
I don't remember. Someone else might, Howlermouse might know better than us. Weekly. I don't know if that was like reprinting it again in a weekly kind of pace, right?
Yeah.
So
don't worry.
Yeah, you missed there, but sorry.
You can rewind.
You just have to hit the rewind.
But yeah, I got Jacka story, as you guys were telling. I found the phone book very cheaply, so I got and I read some of it. So yeah, it's really, as I say, I'm going to take, because of that loss of reading part, I need to take my time with it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Reprints. Yeah, I thought they were. Yeah,
and that's why I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, because
yeah.
I wanted original, and I could never. Honestly, only weekly ones were everywhere. yeah, Jaka is. It seems she's very intriguing. She has this mindset as well, kind of like you can't really disclose her. Like she doesn't talk in personality. All that extra matters actually giving all the personality, what she's all about, kind of thing from the beginning. So it will be intriguing to see at the end. But as far as when Tim was talking to Gore Vidal, they were talking that her husband and Cerebus becomes kind of buddies. And that's kind of intriguing part to see, because honestly, her husband is like, I don't know why she's with him. Like maybe it's just because she's lonely and she wanted somebody next to her. But the way his personality is written so far in just a couple of pages, damn, that man is like, ugh, I don't know. I hope
it makes sense that they would become buddies though, because they're both sort of like dismissed by her, you know, like she doesn't, like she's closer with Cerebus for sure in what I've read so far, but they're both in a way kind of dismissed by her, so they both maybe feel burnt. But again, that's me not reading. I haven't read the entire thing yet either, so
there's a lot of tension, because she kind of like, because the way, as far as I understood now from what I read so far, she is angry with Cerebus because he decided to become a mayor but not being with her.
Right.
But he's angry with her because she's pregnant and he couldn't be with her in that time, even though he was like completely besotted by her. So, you know, I don't know exactly the full whole story, but so far what I have, this is where they stand, because the way they met, so she's like, oh my God, you like hug each other, but then kind of like, you know, like cold shoulders from both of them, you know what I mean? So there's some history there which needs to be kind of like found out by me by reading more of the story. But I'm glad I went in online by chance because I was watching the live chat and I was like, okay, let me see. And it's like, whoo, okay, I couldn't resist, because it's not usually the biggest phone book you get for less than what you're expecting to spend. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. Why not?
Yeah, cool.
Putting the plan towards. Okay, your turn.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I do, but I don't know how much I have to say about this stuff.
Oh, don't worry! Don't spoil it. I can hopefully read it.
No, I won't spoil anything. I guess just quickly.
Oh wait! I have read that. Wait.
You have? Okay.
Yes. You I read some new stuff.
I couldn't remember if I was behind though.
No. This is new one.
I have number 4 of 5. I don't have number 5. Okay, yeah. So we do have the same one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on a second. I mean, you know, it's about to be the same conversation we have all the time, probably.
Yeah.
But it was good. You know, any thoughts about it?
I don't know why they need to be part of the same Thousand Plums, because they're completely different place now. They met a different character who's going to to see that lady the statue which cries and saves everybody. And then it's funny that he's touching religion. I'm kind of intrigued because religion things in any kind of format is not my favorite subject. So I'll be intriguing to see how they are, because they do using this specific religion type, which is kind of like frowned upon because they're wearing the cross and there's like a sect.
Yeah, Kirishitan is what they're called.
Oh, thank you, folks. I was afraid to say that word because I didn't know how to say.
I think it's Kirishitan. Yeah, I think so. Well, but I'm assuming it's supposed to be Christians. You know, I'm assuming that it's Christians.
Yeah, maybe it is because of the cross and stuff like that. But it's in like.
And he also mentions it in the write up at the back too. Right?
Yes, which I didn't read, which I was not in that time when I was reading. I didn't give it. I should read it more because I actually read. I really like that he's putting that extra material, because it would be nice understanding why he was going for it. But like always, it's actually quite a bit of read up for one issue, to be honest. I think it's more information he disclosed in this one issue when he was doing it from the Plums before. It seems to be that he needs to disclose quite a bit and to get us the whole story of where he's going to land in that, and the mother, that's the statue's name, where everybody's going for. And you have
that's going to heal them no matter what their ailments, kind of thing.
Exactly. And Tabor is called because there's a character we meet while they on pilgrimage. Yeah, that's the lady who's crying.
Yeah.
Even Usagi can't believe it because he's kind of like, what are you talking about? It doesn't work like this kind of thing. But
yeah,
everybody blindly. And then that those cross paths of them having to like have a permission in order to walk that way, because they're looking for those religion types because they want to dismiss them and all that stuff. So it's intriguing.
Well, and I mean, I think that's something that Usagi has done so well over all the stories I've read. It really shows like the class system, right? So this is just another version of the class system, but this is now due to religion, and you know, they're not well liked, and they kind of have to hide it, and you know, you have to kind of answer the questions before you're allowed to cross a bridge and those kind of things, right? And then again, of course, it's hard not to relate that to current situations in the world, right? Where people have limited mobility, where they can't go to certain areas, you know. So it's I mean, I love the back matter that he does. I love that he's kind of expanding and sort of giving some of his thoughts on why he's writing this story and some of the research he's doing, and the actual history behind these stories. I really dig it. This has been a fun kind of, and like you said, though, it is odd that it's part of this particular series, but I mean, maybe I just wish it was all just numbered and it didn't have these little offshoots anyway. But
but I think maybe it's the way the Dark Horse, they said like 3 is not enough. We need 5 in order to produce in the hardcover. Maybe that's what it is, or whatever.
That could be,
because at the end of the publishing, maybe it was trying to tell them something, because at the end of the 3 issues is not enough for you to produce, like you say, a hardcover like Firefly. Have you read the seasons? And
I did.
So, okay, so now before we started with the seasons and stuff and all so I read something he wrote on Instagram.
Okay.
Rick Remender is writing down saying that how he struggles and that he likes to bury himself into work in order to mentally work through stuff, whatever he's going through. And now I'm kind of understanding now, because maybe we're reading quite a lot of his Rick Remender works. His other work, like he wants to produce too many books in one go, first of all, and then in not every single thing. So I'm reading now from him stick with me. Like this issue kind of caught me by surprise, because I actually for the first issue, I actually like this now. I kind of understand the background, I understand the struggles, I understand probably a bad guy. The only thing I understand about the bad guy is the mirror and all the circus, because I don't understand the circus part of this one. So I kind of understand now that his book's gonna suffer if he's himself admitting that in order for him to mentally kind of stabilize himself, he's burying himself in work. But by burying himself in work, by doing too many things without giving attention to at least 2 series, let's say. Now he has how many series he's producing? Well, the ones I'm reading is this, and I'm reading the Sacrifices, right? He's releasing another comic book now. He's announced.
Jesus.
With another very famous artist as well, which is intriguing enough. And there's like, you show the covers and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of questioning, will it be having enough attention given to all this comic book? It seems to be that, because it's not the same anymore how it used to be. It used to be like really intentively written by him. It felt like he understood where the end of the things he's writing about is in place in his mind. Like, for example, Seasons for me so far is the most up and down reading in single format. I'm not saying that maybe in the whole chunk makes sense, all of it. Probably it would be. But when you're reading in single format, it feels like one is great, and the one why you have that issue. Honestly, issue like before this one, 4th or third issue was like, why? There's nothing you're giving to us. You just flew around, did something, and we didn't give you disclosed information. Maybe it's just my feelings. So what do you think about it?
I mean, this was the first one that I think I really liked. I haven't really been liking this series, to be honest. No, I'm not crazy about the circus element. I'm not crazy about that. I think I understand it a little bit, and I think it becomes more clear in this one. And this one also resonated with me a little bit too, based on things that are currently going on in my kind of regular world outside of like comic world. So I did associate with her a little bit in this story, right? I could see some kind of like links there. But I don't know, like it's a series that I keep picking it up, but I'm not really blown away by it. This one was enjoyable, but if I think about all the stuff that I'm reading in general, it's still pretty low down on the list for me as sort of something that I feel like I need to read. But that said, though, I think, like you said, is exactly what we've talked about before. I mean, spreading yourself too thin is a real thing. I mean, how are you going to put all your time and energy into something and then do it 5 times and actually have one be a complete kind of thought? You know what I mean? Because some of his books, they seem to be really about an emotion or about some sort of time period or some sort of there's some sort of like link to his personality to these stories, right? So maybe he's going through a bit of a manic time in his personal life right now where he's all into a bunch of things and it's manifesting itself in his writing. He needs to write a whole bunch of stuff and get a bunch of ideas out at once. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to keep picking it up because it's on my pull list and I get it anyway, so why not? But it's not one that I'm really like, I don't know. It's not one that's completely blowing me away, you know? But yeah.
I'm not sure if he's...
Not everything is going to be gold, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's still writing The Holy Roller or whatever that book is called. Because it's the only one I could think of maybe should be still in coming out. Not finished. The only like the skater book. What is it called again?
Yeah, the Gromit's there. That one's done.
Yeah, the Gromit's is done, but he was writing with somebody else, and you said you thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe he had somebody else's to like bounce the ideas off it. Don't forget this giant generator of image. I don't know, understand what's that going anyway. So this giant generator is producing lots of creators as well. So I wonder how much he's involved in it. So there's lots of stuff going on in his life. And of course, mentally, you know, like he has acknowledged many times that he's mentally is like apparently like when he was writing Low, he had really like problems in the family. I think his mom has passed away in that period of time. So, and the aged female was one of the main characters in Low, as far as I remember. So I think that's, of course, he's influenced by all emotions. I think like a lot of his books, like religions, whatever he feels about the government in these days, life he's involved in his writing as well. But yeah, I think sometimes when he's writing too much, it feels like when you're reading it in the books.
Yeah.
Have you read Kaya?
Shit, yeah, I have. It's right here.
Cool. So I was thinking, so Kaya is, I really, honestly, when I was reading, it's a lot of, I was looking at art and I was like, I cannot believe, of course,
it's
first
so
of all,
goddamn thin.
Jason Wardy colors, I don't know how they're deciding to do this kind of stuff. Because first of all, Kaya is action themed. We have 2 protagonists, Kaya and the brother, and that's what we follow them through. The second thing is, these 2 creators have been, this comic book is printed on the most thinnest piece of paper, probably produced on image. I mean, I don't know,
it's
because
insane.
it's like you can see through stuff. I mean, when you take the cover, you can see the back. I mean, you can't see it now because of the lights. But somehow, what is printed is just goddamn beautiful.
Yeah,
the colors, the subtle colors, especially this panels works. It's so subtle, but it's poignant. Like it's exactly where you need to be. Like when Jin becomes a bird. It's very subtly introduced to you, but you exactly know it. You know, like where it is. You don't get lost in it. So I think both, like
because he's got colors associated with him. Yeah,
exactly. And also all this, like you know, like moments where Kaya is having to wait for Jin because they send him off because this is the story we're going for. Maybe we're gonna try to save somebody, but anyway. The scenes where actions are different color schemes, which is perfect because then you don't get lost in the storyline. You know exactly where everything happens. It's not in the same place. It's far away distance from them. And the heated conversation between, what is his name? Razel is his name? Razel,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think so.
So the heated conversation with Razel Kaya, both of them are in red, purposely done because they're having this rage. Like Kaya is proper pissed off at him because he's like supposed to be this god who is there to help them. He's been there before, like millennia before, and she's blaming him. Why are you here? We don't need you. What the hell are you doing here? And he's like, I'm not, like, he literally basically didn't say to her in the face, but I'm not for you. I'm for Jin. It's like I don't.
Well, and also told her that he knows her dad.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
also
exactly.
a pretty big thing too. So this link to her past that she doesn't know much about.
Yeah.
He was directly there. Like what did he say? Did he kind of hint that he trained her dad or something?
Yeah.
Was that what
Yes.
it was?
Because
Yeah.
he was trying to like, don't you want to ask a novice question? She's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, I taught your dad to being what it is, like who he was. All your like experience.
Hello.
All your experiences. Hello, Donald. It's because of me, kind of things, like in your face, and she's like really like, and like, and he's telling her like you're not a child, kind of thing, and she gets really angry with him and stuff like that. So I think his writing is definitely hell of an improvement. Do you know that he's doing something else as well? Now he's going to produce another book, I think.
No idea.
If I'm correct, following him. So he's doing another book as well. I'm not sure how he's going to produce it. I think he's going to kickstart it, to be honest. I have a feeling. Because I think he's really promoting his Kaya all the time, at all times. But I think he's really depending on this like single format in keep on selling. It's really important to me to sell in singles before produced in collected. And I was reading people reading this in collected, and they were saying like, this is everybody's supposed to reading this. They're really enjoying it because it's high paced. It's a lot of actions, and the characters, they really like the characters they got introduced to. So so people, he has the people's attention, but I think it's really difficult for him to get them going and stuff like that.
It's just so damn flimsy. It's so ridiculously thin. Yeah, that's cool, Sean.
Oh, lovely.
Doing a variant cover. That's amazing.
Nice. Very good. I like that. So yeah, he's been doing quite. So I forgot who's she. The fox lady.
Her name is it's very similar to his.
Varia.
Razzle or something, or
no,
Razel. But then his is Raziel or something like that. Or
so
it's close to his name though.
So who's she? Do you remember?
She was from the past when they went into that village or whatever, where it was those kind of almost like anarchist type of group. I think she was with that group where he went underwater and all of these things happened.
Oh yeah, but he had
to get a handle on like his transformative powers and things, right? So it's been a few issues since we've seen her.
I still don't like him, by the way.
No, I don't either, and that's the only thing. I just wish it would focus more on her. But that said, though, I really like this issue. Like I do really like these issues again. It's just so goddamn thin. It is the thinnest comic I think I've ever read in my life. It's almost like an advert. It's almost like
it's like
advertisement within a comic or something.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's Jen is still my. Is such a brat. Oh, and he's like, and then that Razel's conversation with him. So what do you really want? And he's like, oh, for God's sake, just move along. Let's Kaya shine through. And then the Kaya having this bickering situation because she has seen herself when she's older, and her own self when she's older warned younger self to say like, watch out because this douche. We never know what's coming up. But yeah, exciting. Issue 27 already. Wow.
I know, that's also crazy. 27 issues.
Yeah, which is probably
quick.
Only comic book that many issues in I am following that month. Because I came, like you say, I found them the in single format quite quickly on eBay. I lucked out and I got a whole chunk of it. And then I started following the review because it's really good and it's improving. And this is fascinating.
It really is,
Wes Craig's writing is becoming more like he has enough attention to give to each sections of the storyline he's trying to give to us. But whereas before it used to be a bit more all over the place and you didn't know what's going on. But yeah, Jason Ward.
I mean, the only thing is I hope he comes to it sooner than later about what this god's agenda is, because it does feel like it is dragging out a little bit, not to a point where it's getting boring, but it's we keep getting these hints of like, oh, you can't trust him. We're like, okay, so you got to resolve that in some way within the next couple of issues,
Hopefully,
like there's got to be a resolution to that.
It does
to kind of keep it moving forward.
It doesn't help that he's kind of giving himself like the break between, because he's been working for DC, doing some things, making money basically, and then he's coming back, and then we have a little bit of like a month break between issues. But yeah, I'm still loving it. It's nice, like adventure type of the book to read. Like Usagi, you can't say really. When now the subject of Usagi is a bit more serious. Like the religion part is kind of like intriguing to see that actually even trying to dwell in that because of around the world what's happening. Do we really want that or we don't? And stuff like that. So anyway, okay. Yeah. Do you have nothing else, right? Together, I don't think we.
No, I do have a couple of other things.
I have a couple more as well, so you go first.
Okay, I don't have much to say about. So out of Alcatraz, issue number 4, I think issue number 5 is the final issue. Nothing to say other than it's fucking good. For some reason, I missed number 2 and I can't find it in the shop, so I'm gonna have to probably find it online. But it's really, really, really good. It's really good. And Tyler Crook's art just seems to get better and better and better. There's some just headshots in here. I'll just show you one. It's not a spoiler or anything. I'll just show you a bit of his watercolor.
Okay.
And it's just really stunning to me, the work that he's able to achieve. There was a shot of one of the women up close, and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous stuff. Like, it's really, I don't know, man. The hair, the look on her face, like everything about it is an absolute stunner. So this is such a fun book. And I mean, even just pulling back and seeing the entire page, his watercolor painting is beautiful. And and then you get some bursts of violence as well too that seem almost like that seems very cartoony and almost pencil crayons. You know what I mean? There's a different quality to it that works really, really well. So it's a goddamn good book. And I mean, when it gets collected, for anybody who's not reading it, I wouldn't hesitate for a second to jump on it because it's goddamn good. But that's all I'll say about that one because the rest are kind of spoilers because we're well into the series. I also picked up, because I've been picking up Death of Copra, I picked up Copra number 50, and I read this one and realized, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what this is supposed to be winding up. I don't know enough about it, but I felt like I should get it anyway. So, his art is nice. I love his art and everything, but this story didn't do anything for me because I haven't read the other 49 issues, basically. So I didn't really get as much out of this one as I'm sure some other people did. And then the last one that I read, so Godzilla, there's a million Godzilla series, and one of them, War for Humanity, was by this guy Jake Smith. So Jake Smith has this book called Robo Wolf, and my God, Jake Smith's art is overwhelming in kind of like an old arcade game kind of style with this kind of crazy lettering. There's a bank heist. Robo Wolf is one of the main characters. Copra lost me years ago, but it still looks great. Yeah. But it's just so bold throughout the whole thing. It feels like a 90s video game or a pinball machine. And it's just explodes off the page with color and character design. So it's fun for that. The story itself seems interesting enough, I suppose. But man, oh man, it's almost overwhelming, even on screen. Like it's overwhelming, the amount of color that's on each of the pages. Really, it's intense, man. It's really intense. So you get kind of introduced to each of the characters on the kind of Robo Wolf team that are stealing money because his daughter's been kidnapped. Each of them has an enemy, someone that's out to get them. So on this page, we get a little brief shot of each of our main characters and then their nemesis on each panel.
What the?
Whoa, what the?
I know, right?
Robo Wolf's face turquoise, speaker shape, octopus red, waving pillow turquoise. Holy smokes. Wowzers. It's all of those things. Hey, it's intense, in other words. But yeah, so really, really fun. This is Dark Horse. Jake Smith, I don't know what else he's done outside of that Godzilla series. And that Godzilla series itself wasn't the greatest thing. It was, again, his art. It's still going. It doesn't seem to be showing you the images that you're trying to pull up there. And then a nice kind of double page spread there.
Yeah.
So good stuff. It's definitely a throwback to 80s and 90s, and like I said, very much like an arcade game in comic book form. So kind of fun.
Looks like he needs to be hopped up.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're not hopped up, I'm sure by the end of it you feel like you are, because it's pretty just wild. So yeah, that's all that I read this week.
Do you like my new hair?
Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow. What the heck?
So this is my work of art. For my son had to be a troll, so this is why I made it up for him.
Oh, amazing. That's so amazing.
The hair is not, oh look, it's standing.
Stays up to
sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. What's it made out of?
Yarn. So crochet.
Okay, just yarn. Yeah, okay.
And the hair is yarn as well. Is that I don't know, whatever, poly, whatever.
So cool.
Yeah. So this is me. I made this up for him. I thought I'm gonna show it off. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this is very expensive.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
High action, exquisite corpses. So
La Raza Labubu.
Yeah, Labubu, yeah. So this is very I don't know if I'm going to continue with this, because I mean, I know it's Walsh and everybody's hyping this up, but it's expensive, £5 a pop to every single month to get a comic book. It's fun. It's high action. It's I really like Michael Walsh's art on this. I think it works really well. But the storyline is continuous, like 12 families choosing a town where they're going to release all these murdering killers in it as a playground to decide whoever going to be in charge of the whole country. And this is basically aftermath of the first death. And this chick comes approaching the lady who's in charge of the soldier, kind of Punisher type of a character, who basically gets the first kill. And she's like, "Ooh, very naughty. You're using the same guy we knew before. How intriguing. Why are you doing this?" And I'm basically... they bitching around together a little bit in this issue, saying like, "Ooh, like, are you sure this is what you wanted to get?" And he's getting like, because they're not happy that the murder happened so quickly, because apparently they murder the people in the town first more, then they suss themselves out and they kill each other. Kind of like it becomes a bit more game. And this guy on the front cover becomes the main guy, who is basically kills the first member. And the guy who he basically tries to murder is the clerk in kind of like a petrol station or gas station. And he gets like to come and like, "Let me," and he's like kind of mangled. He uses every single person's kill as a skin part graft. So he grafts himself into this like obscene creature. So it doesn't get killed, because the guy who comes into kind of like by chance into the gas station gets murdered, absolutely obliterated with a X-Acto knife, which is kind of crazy in that sense. Why I'm saying is, I love the action. I like what's going on. I don't like the price tag. I thought £5 or $5 price tag is only for the issue number 1, but it seems to be they're going to continue doing that in each issue. I don't know how long this is. They planned for this. Apparently, it's quite intense, long, because they're doing this trading cards at the back. Apparently, there's a game coming up. They even advertising that coming in 2026. It's a little bit. Merch. I mean, I was excited about this from the beginning of the first issue. I really liked it, because I think Tynion can actually put the comic book really like well, especially with action scenes and intrigue, how everything is going to delve into it. But I'm really not sure if I want to have that in my pull list, because this read was quite fast. It's an action scene, of course. It's like almost like Sean was talking about previously, about like somebody writing for a TV show. I think this is like through and through what would have happened. Halloween, it's set on Halloween days. They come in, start killing, close off the town completely, and just basically having a massacre. And people in it doesn't have a clue until the first murder happens. So I don't know. So maybe next issue if I read a bit, but I don't really like the price tag. I'm really bothers me. I know I don't want to promote having the like $5 issues in my pull list, because the minute people start more of them buying and accepting it, I think it's just going to go out of hand, to be honest. Then I'm going to have 2 books in my pull list, because I don't want to spend 50 or 40 or like 100 some people do in my pull. I would love to promote, but I can't, like at the end of the day, this is my own choice. Fell flat for me. I started to feel less interested, but may try a few more issues. Yeah, me too. Like that's I almost thought it was Something Killing the Children book. Yeah. It's not, but I really like the Walshes. Michael Walsh is interesting. The way he's using everything, the shots are using. There's this creepy kid, one of the chosen killers, and he's approaching the 2 main characters, or 2 main characters, I think. 2 main characters. There's a child who's basically going trick-or-treating, and he's approaching them like nonchalant, and they don't suspect him, because like, like children, they're kind of naive. They see another child, they think it's, like, oh, come join me to do this trick-or-treating. I know his great house. And the guy who's basically taking care of him is a neighbor who decided that to help the mother, because mother is like have this horrible job and stuff like that. So is Walsh drawing the much of the issue too? I thought it did. It looked like his own work. Oh, Mariana Ignazzi is art and with Michael Walsh. So interesting. It looked like.
So sorry, I'm confused. I thought, isn't that issue 1 that you have there? That's issue 2 there.
That's his issue 2. This is
issue 2. Oh, okay.
So issue 1 was with that fox on the front cover. I was talking like being quiet, but yeah. So this is issue 2. As I say, I didn't know that there was the chick is actually going to do the things. It didn't feel like it's different. It's kind of subtly different now you say it to me. But it has the same intents of the Walsh's, the first cover, but I guess it's kind of clever to have 2 artists rather than 1, especially if they look so kind of similar to each other. But yeah, I'm just not loving the price tag. And I am not as hyped about Tinian as a lot of people are. I haven't read as many of his works. I read some of his Nice Thing on the Lake, whatever that thing happened.
Yeah.
I read that. And I know it's not finished. I enjoyed what I read because I read it from library. Collected format. It read really nicely. But I know that you were upset about it because apparently he's going to come back to it.
Yeah, man, it pissed me off. Yeah, fuck that book. Because I really loved that first volume, like quite a bit. I was really enjoying it. To get to the end and get jumped on that it was part 1. Fuck you, man. Yeah, that pissed me off because I really liked that book a lot as I was reading. I thought the pacing was really, really good. The mystery was really intriguing, genuinely intriguing. I was genuinely curious how it was going to wrap up, only to be like, oh, there's going to be more. So we still haven't wrapped it up, So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think, okay. So maybe I'm not going to be as sold out on this one, to be honest, because there's there's a couple of more comic books coming out, which I want to add them in pull. So I'm kind of debating whatever I want to kind of like, I don't have a big pull anyway. I'm very picky when it comes to it because I find that there's this year in particularly, I get convinced by yours, the Kamui is coming out, which my attention is fully on that part, which is unbelievable.
Soon, right? Comes out soon.
This month.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's in like next week. I think.
Watch, Josh. Don't even.
Yeah.
Don't even
look at you getting excited. So he makes me excited about.
I look it up right now.
Yeah, manga. So I am looking forward to that. So that's the thing, is there's lots of things coming out in collected editions, which I'm kind of fascinated by to get hold of. So it's kind of slows me down with the single issues, and especially the price tag. Like Usagi Yojimbo, it's $5 an issue, but somehow it's always on the top of my list to read, and it's always satisfying 100%. A kind of review I'm expecting if you review.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, Sean, you're not afraid of those kind of reviews.
No, I would never say that.
Of course not. We don't that much.
Well, I mean, I do sometimes, but
yeah. The one book I was excited because of the price tag, and I felt like, oh my god, the only book I have, which is kind of like $2.99, is gonna become $3.99. It was like, oh.
Even that though isn't too bad, you know. $4.99 is generally what the books are these days, aren't they?
So this issue got me very surprised. Da 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 da! For the first time, and Simon.
Whoa!
Who's appearing?
The man himself.
The Spawn is here. So I got it's really good issue, as always. The only thing is a bit stretched out. I wanted to know this thing happening. Twitch is proper in trouble. He's still in trouble. It's a bit too stretched out for me. You should wrap up already. I want to know what's happening, who is behind it, and what I was very surprised by. Spawn has no regards towards Sam whatsoever, because he's the one having conversation to Sam. But apparently Twitch is way up in his opinion about it's like, didn't you hear? And he started telling him, didn't you hear Twitch is in proper trouble? And he's like, no, I haven't had a clue. Because he's asking, because apparently Spawn appears to Sam and Twitch when he needs something done or researched. So that's why he came to him and asked them, like, can you deal with the situation I'm interested in? Can you suss out something? Because they are part of like the coppers. So he basically has hands in the police kind of an institution, but he didn't realize that Twitch is in trouble, and Sam is basically telling him that, and he just basically comes off and it's like, well, I'm going to check it out. So I'm not sure if I'm going to see Spawn again, because it's the only Spawn related book I'm reading. And there's like lots of coming out from Spawn. The Spawn is becoming really, really popular, and people are raving about the books, which I would like to read. But there's so many collected editions of Spawn now came out apparently, and there's a lot of easy ways to read it. But this keeps my attention. I just want this Twitch situation wrapped up a bit more quicker. I mean, there's lots of information has been given. We found out about this institution. Of course, the corporate scientists who are deciding to, from the old guy to a French brand new guy, because they have this research injection. They also have a what?
Like a super soldier type of program?
No, it's a kind of like reverse aging. They want them to live like the people who is like dying. They don't want them to die, so they get this formula. But you know, then those like, or a guy who has been crippled for almost his whole life. He's been dancing and almost doing the ninja kick. So that's kind of thing. But then they have a problem with this drug where people basically who takes the drug, they die. And then they get revived for a couple of days and they kill themselves again. So it's kind of like that. So this is a situation where Sam is trying to basically find out about. And he gets into this building, and the person in charge basically told him to fuck off. It's like, oh, get me a warrant if you want to talk to me. Don't you understand? Don't you like, I know my rights, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. It's really good, but it's the Twitch part. It needs to be sorted already, because I'm getting kind of like losing my attention. It's just it's intriguing because this drug, because Twitch whole life, his marriage, his work, it seems to be done. They were gonna push him away from the picture because he killed somebody, all right, who's running away without having any purpose of being like unjust killing. As a copper, that's no, you know. And he's basically about to lose all his pension. His wife is losing patience because he's telling the truth to justice system, and his family is trying to tell them, why are you telling the truth? Just you know, like, just sort yourself out. And he's like, I can't lie, you know, like, I don't want to be that kind of like a police detective who is basically takes bribes and gets away with murder kind of thing. So he wants it done it correctly. Great. Love it when it was $2.99. Because it was exciting to have at least one book in the pull list being that price tag, honestly. However, I know it's going up, which is, but anyway, I'll probably keep it because I really enjoy detective storylines. I don't really have a book. Kind of seasons supposedly have been that, but it doesn't really feel like that. It doesn't feel like a detective kind of thing, because Four Sisters and all that stuff, kind of like mangled information. Anyway, so yeah, this is my whole reading situation.
I wonder how many people are going to drop off those books, you know, because I agree with you. All of a sudden, I'm seeing a lot of Spawn books out there as well, too.
Yeah.
And again, a guy like Jared Osborne is the same boat as you. He was buying Spawn because it's $2.99, you know.
Yeah.
So I wonder if these price jumps even just $1 is going to get some people like Jared off the train of I'm not going to buy it anymore because the only reason I was buying it because it was cheap, So
I've never heard a bad thing about Spawn though lately.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Apparently people like the Gunslinger is very popular.
Yeah.
His the original run of Spawn is quite difficult to get hold of now. It's becoming such a thing. It's coming back. I mean,
yeah.
Did you hear the Witchblade issue 1 is coming out?
No, I did not.
Excuse me, no. Yeah, apparently. I hope it's true. I don't know, but I saw like issue 1 of Witchblade is coming back, and everybody's like the 90s nostalgics, as they call themselves. They are very excited because Witchblade. And I have some Witchblade because I know why I was picking up Witchblade, because Michael Turner was doing quite a lot of covers. And I think there's the Michael Turner's Witchblade #1 cover coming out, which is, I mean, how do they get the art of his still going in?
Yeah,
somebody has rights of his work. I presume that's why he's coming out, and people like picking them up like cupcakes.
Yeah, right.
Michael Turner books. So anyway, but yeah, I've never heard bad thing about Spawn in general.
Right.
And everybody who likes it in Reddit, they say it's good. Like, we're really excited about. So Jared Osborne is saying that. No, I don't think he's even saying anything about the Spawn.
No, I mean, I know that he was reading it. I don't know if, I think he's himself said that it's not like his favorite book ever, but the only reason he's doing it is because it's cheap.
No.
Sorry, I'm distracted here because I was looking up Kamui, and you're right. It is. It comes out on the 8th, according to League of Comic Geeks, and then volume 3 comes out January of next year. So it looks like potentially 2 volumes a year. So,
oh boy,
that's exciting.
How many?
I hope it actually comes in.
How many?
I don't know how many total they were doing. Does it say on? I don't know if it says. I think they did mention at some point. I don't know if it was like 10 books or something, or I don't remember how many there was going to be. Yeah, it doesn't say in the Drawn and Quarterly website either.
Yeah,
how many total there are.
So apparently, Sean Mums was insisting him to get in Witchblade because she liked the Turner's art.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, wow.
Well, the what's his name? Why I don't remember. The Spider-Man's very famous cover artist. He got inspired by Turner, and he became like a big cover artist. What is his name? I know I profited on his covers quite nicely. I forgot. What's his name? Blanking. But anyway, he kind of like, I think he got inspired by Turner, and he's kind of mimicked, or like not mimicked, but used that kind of type of the art in female drawing and stuff like that. So I think it's like Michael Turner has inspired. There you go.
Scott Campbell. There you go. Yeah.
And that's the guy. Thank you, Sean. Because always when it comes to the name and we do live chats, like blank.
Yeah.
So yeah, J. Scott Campbell. Highly recommend to find it in the bin, his cover, and then sell it off. Make money. But always.
Are they all kind of worth money? It doesn't really matter.
Spider-Man's, all the Spider-Man stuff, poof, it's going like
crazy.
I remember I sold it. I made like maybe, I don't remember how much, maybe £30 on top of whatever I got it. Now the same cover, it's the famous Mary Jane cover next to the window. She perks up her boobs. There's a big heart and blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
Cover.
Yeah.
So that cover now is going for like £100-something odd pounds.
Crazy,
man. It's crazy.
So tune in for our new show about Comic Book Marketplace airing.
No,
Speculators Corner.
No, I'm not. No,
we're gonna do a hot book alert and all sorts of stuff for you. You just wait.
I don't know. I know Spider-Man books in general, it just sells.
Yeah.
It's okay. At the end of the day, exciting. There you go. I have bought 208 books thus this year, 16 are new trade facsimile editions. 152 back issues were cheaper than the new book. What?
192. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, that completely makes sense to me. Especially the deals you end up getting, Tim, because you guys have some good places down in the States.
Yeah,
to find stuff, and Yeah.
Not everyone, but yeah, the ones who
that they have. I'm sure he'll say the name, but
yeah.
Anyway.
You have does what is that place they keep on saying they got collected editions of for very cheap?
Yeah, I mean, there's the in-stock trades online, but they've also got a brick and mortar type store too that guys in the States have talked about before, but I'm blanking on what it's called. I've never heard of it before. We don't have any here, so
yeah.
I
honestly, 20 books. Oh, tons and deals on convention.
25 books for
Oh, shush. Oh, so you still have those conventions, because our conventions in London, the new one came out, and apparently was saying some dude who went to look for comics as a deal. It's like the only thing I saw is people dressed up. There's nothing comic. It's like, so why are they calling comic collections conventions? They still baffled by it. Because the only thing you see is cosplayers and advertisement for new.
We still have some really good small ones here. They're still, and they're like 90% comics, which is great. There's a couple of people selling toys, and some people sell video games and things, but it's 90% comics, and even the places that are selling video games and stuff, they'll also have Ollie's is the one I was thinking about. They'll also have comics as well too. But yeah, the big convention, it's Pop Culture Convention is what they've started calling ours now. And there's a couple of guys that'll set up as comics, but it's mostly local guys that I've seen before. So the big one doesn't really have much. But I'm glad to see that we still have a thriving small comic community of conventions going on, right? So
I like I'm really glad that Comic Mart in London is still like the place to go, and it's very popular, and they keep on having them throughout the year. I think there's six times a year. I think they do that. And honestly, if I could go there like regularly, I think my pull list will never exist, because that's when
right.
Because every new, like, not everything, like number one issues I never see that often in Comic Mart.
Right.
But honestly, fill in, like, you pick up, let's say, the first 3 issues of a run of especially DC or Marvel. I guarantee 4, 5, 6, and 7 and going, you will find in Comic Mart.
Yeah,
and
right.
They will be for £1 or something like that, and you're like, what's the hell point buying £5 worth of comic book? And honestly, some places are charging like pound to pound, like, so dollar to pound, kind of like, so if it's like this one is 5, I've seen plenty of places which sells the same, like £5 for that, which is okay. I understand that whatever comic books and now delivery issues and all that stuff doesn't help. But honestly, I need to, for my own sake, only me relating to that. But my pull list it's become smaller and smaller.
Just let me grab something from out here. I'll be right back. Hold on one second.
Cool. I've gone in a month, and it's great, but mostly for cosplayers, anime fans, more than comics creators and fans. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I like to go those. I remember I haven't been to many conventions because of that kind of feeling, because I've heard always look at reviews for people who goes in local conventions, and most of the time I barely seen comics. So one convention I went, which was about probably 8 years ago, and it was in London, and that's when I saw that thing. I remember the time when I said to you, I saw Giant Size X-Men for £150 and I didn't pick it up. That will haunt me forever.
Yeah.
And now this book is like crazy, like the Giant Size X-Men goes up, down, goes up and down, but usually quite a lot up.
Just while we were talking deals, I just wanted to show 4 books. 2 of these you know about already, but 2 I don't think you do. And again, like even at some of the comic shops, there's still deals to be had in some of the bins. I got a collected edition of Valerian stories for, I think, like, I don't know, I think it was like $5 or something in a bin. And it's all stories that I don't have, because I've got a few Valerian books already, but I don't think these are ones that I have already. So very excited about this one. And then I think it was that same day I found this
when that comes
Silver Surfer hardcover, the Mobius issue. It's disgusting and beat to hell and stuff. But when you take the cover off, if you take off that disgusting slip jacket, first of all, you get this, which is a fucking stunner. It's beautiful. And then, I mean, I have these single issues, but again, like, how can you pass up anything Mobius in a cheap bin? Hey, look at this. It's pointless probably, but just nominated Comic Therapy for mid-tier live stream on the CBC Awards. Well, thank you very much, Damien.
Thank you.
Comic book community. So it has some background, has some backup material. This is why I wanted it, because I have the actual issues. But this has this kind of back matter stuff about the writing of it and kind of how it came together. So that's a really nice Galactus there as well too. So, but the ones that you have seen, because these are in your pile, I could not believe $2 each of these books, $2 stinking dollars. Tales from the Plague, Richard Corbin. I mean, look at that goddamn cover. No, the Mobius is not oversized. It's just regular graphic novel type of size.
Yeah. Oh, so look at that. Saucy material.
Yeah. It's Mobius. It's Corbin. It's an older Corbin. Yeah. So that's a stunner to find for $2 measly dollars. Beautiful wraparound cover. But the one that blew me away, and I know that it's blown you away, and I'm sure it will other people too. $2 fucking dollars for Mobius book number 4, The Long Tomorrow. Again, it's got some issues. It's got some rippling and stuff like that, but all the pages are there, and it's fucking. I couldn't believe that it was in the bin. So it's a collection of like short stories. Beautiful stuff too.
That's great.
Yeah. So, just to show like.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I paid $40 for the same book. Oh my god, no!
I know, and that's the thing. Like when I got these books, because I have the series, it was not fucking $2 a book. I can tell you that much. So they were not even close to that price. So that's a good, solid score.
I love those days when you can find stuff like Mobius stuff for cheap. It's just so much more rewarding than anything else.
I was stunned.
Everything is just like skyrocketing. I keep on looking, because my one thing I always want somehow find. Oh, Godzilla. Oh,
so that's the Mobius. Sorry, that's the
sorry.
That's the Silver Surfer book. So exactly the same dimensions as a comic there, Damien.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Larassa, go ahead.
Yeah. No, so the Mobius stuff is always, but I always on the lookout of that collected Blueberry hardcovers with his signature on limited edition. I always look on of course eBay just to see what's going on. And honestly, it's crazy. Some of them, because they, depends on the condition people kept it.
Yeah.
And it's barely on eBay, first of all. But when it appears, it's like, oh, £400. Oh, another one is like, I for the first time I saw like £600. I'm like, that's a lot for hardcover but there's a signature of his inside it. Apparently, he signed each copy.
Oh, wow.
So, and they are beautiful, those hardcovers, and anybody could then find those, even though, those epic editions are great of Blueberry, but if you could get hold of those hardcovers, then, ooh.
Yeah. And, Tim, you're 100% right. It's so hard. It's so hard to kind of have that patience. It really depends on what it is. I mean, I got us both to buy this Dimwood because it just feels like that's going to go out of print pretty quick. But a lot of this stuff, you're totally right. If you wait long enough, things make an appearance in those cheap bins.
Well, I don't know, Sean, who is talking that? Because maybe they have a clue about Mobius. But if you have a clue about Mobius, dude, I never.
Let me help you. Let me help you move some of these books. And then the other bit of news is an Underground Comics collection came in at one of my shops. And when I went in to see the guy, he said, I was just thinking about you. I'm probably going to buy this collection. Would you be interested? And I'm like, I'm always interested in Underground Comics.
Yeah.
So it came in and I had a chance to go and visit him and just look through the boxes. It's 2 short boxes and then one sort of like a shoe box filled with stuff. There's some amazing stuff in there. Funny Animals is in there, which is the first appearance of Mouse. So he's got that book in this collection. So that was cool to kind of hold in my hands. It was all bagged. I didn't take it out of a bag. I didn't want to mess with anything.
Yes, of course not.
But in the shoe box, there was 3 Fritz the Cat comics, but they were like newspaper strip size. It was
Yeah.
really interesting. And on the back, it had promos for the movie. So they must have been coming out around that same time. There was some really cool stuff in that box, some really oddball titles that I haven't seen before from Undergrounds. So I've talked to him. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy the whole thing as a collection, because I think he bought it as a collection, and I think he might want to piecemeal it out. There's a lot of books in there too that aren't really worth much, even in underground circles. They're not really, like, there's some that are in pretty rough shape.
Yeah.
There's titles there that nobody really wants that, you know, maybe you can get like $2 or $3 for. But there are some where, like, there's some early printings of Freak Brothers. There's some early printings of Zap Comics, that sort of thing. But there's a few books in there that I've never seen. Amputee Love, I've never seen before. I know about it, but I've never seen it in person. It's actually a book written by a couple who are amputees, and it's like this sort of like pornish kind of comic where they talk about having intimate relationships with each other, you know. And apparently the art is really rough inside, and so I'm curious. There's some books there that I really, really want, but that Funny Animals one alone would be amazing. But I'm sure that that's going to come with a pretty hefty price tag. So he hasn't priced them out yet. He said he'd let me look at them first, and if I wanted to put some aside. So I've let him know that I'd be interested in buying the whole collection if the offer was reasonable enough, right? Like, I'm not going to pay $6 a book or anything. So
does he know the value of what he has?
He knows that there's some value in there. He said there's a lot to that because he hasn't done a lot of research in it. And again, I would never lead him astray by any stretch. I turned him on to the Comics Joint website, told him about that, told him about the Fogel Underground price guide, that sort of thing. Tijuana Bibles are in shoe boxes instead of log boxes. Yeah, exactly. So really, really amazing stuff. I'm hoping that it'll work out, but we'll see.
Damon, is those you talking about hardcovers, or are you talking about the epics now? I want to know which ones. Blueberries you waited for 15 years. Mobius, not Blueberries. I'm talking about Mobius books. You're talking about.
Yeah, I think maybe he's talking about those the
epic
ones.
As you can clearly see, I only see Mobius and Blueberries.
Yeah.
Obsessed. High note. Proper.
Yeah.
Obsessed with. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Hopefully, you're gonna get it. So if you, of course, you're gonna show off to us. So it will be.
I will, and also it'll be a thing because I know people that collect them, so it might be good stuff to trade. And I'd probably do like a little bit of a sale or whatever. And again, it would be like dirt cheap. If I get them for a cheap price, I would sell them at a cheap price too. I'm not looking to like flip books. Obviously, books like Funny Animal, I would love to keep in my own collection, right? So part of the reason to try to buy collections like this is so I can kind of keep some and then sell off the other ones. I might, if I do end up getting them, I probably would keep some of the early Freak Brothers printings because I've been sort of collecting the different printings. So it might be nice to add those in the Zap Comics. Cool. Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see if it works out. I don't know if this was part of a bigger collection that he bought and this was just a small part of it, or if this was the collection that he bought, right? Because I'd probably stand a better chance of getting them all if this was just a small part of an enormous collection that he bought, right? Because he might not want to go through the hassle of trying to price all this stuff out. I don't think he's going to have much luck in person selling them in his store, you know?
Yeah.
So
just a hint, maybe.
I'll help him.
Yeah, just like, let me help you sort it out.
Yeah, exactly. Let me help you. Let me help you, bud. Take these pesky, dirty books off your hands.
I just realized I haven't pre-ordered Kamui yet. Oopsie.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to. Otherwise,
I did. Well, that's the thing that's concerning to me, as usual, because on my League of Comic Geeks, it says it's coming out this week, but it doesn't appear on my pull list yet. But I did order it. I have pre-ordered it already. But like last time, who knows? I might end up just getting it because that first volume still didn't come into my comic shop. It still hasn't shown up.
So you're gonna get it from the shop, like you did at the bookshop, right?
I'm just probably gonna go to the bookstore and get it. Yeah. And if I have to, if the comic guy gets it in for me, I'll eat it and I'll buy a second copy. You know.
Mine say on the not that place I buy online. It says 12th of this. Oh,
12th. Okay, so still coming up.
No.
6 days.
They changed the date now. Oh boy. They're saying it's on the 8th of month, so it's August, not this month.
Oh, I see.
Oh no. Why is that?
Delays. Always delays. I still haven't got my sickness collection in the mail, and
Oh
I'm
my
seeing
God.
it in the shops all over the
They
place, and
changed the
it's making
date.
me angrier and angrier.
Well, if they keep on telling, I keep on reading about saying that people like this diamond situation is just getting worse and worse for people who ever
Yeah.
got involved in that, and the delivery stuff is just a story by itself. Apparently, that people are really struggling to get hold of stuff on time as they promised them, blah blah blah, and no other distributors, wherever big houses, like Random House, Penguin Random House is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think that one is the most consistent, as far as I know. But yeah, they keep on having troubles with that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm excited about that movie. I don't know why I'm so excited now. Okay, let me I read one manga and now I'm going crazy. So I went to the bookshop. And I never went to section of manga. Or they have manga section is ginormous. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never comic book
Fucking
wise,
huge.
it's a lot, quite a big section. But manga one is big. Oh my god, it's like room to. So anyway, I look up, and for the first time in real life, I saw how those box sets look like. So I saw Akira box set. I was like, oh boy.
Oh, the big one.
The big Akira one.
It's a stunner, man. It's a stunner.
I said to my husband, "Can I have that?"
Yeah.
He looked at the price. Nope.
If Tim is still here, I think Tim has that.
The box set of Akira.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah. I was really tempted at one point to sell my tankobons that I have to get that box set, but I just don't know where I would put it because it would take up one cube on the shelf, I think, considering how goddamn big it is.
When you open it, because that's how I guess people display it, you have to open with those big whatever what they called box, whatever. So it's ginormous. It's huge. And he had that one. Then they had the box set of what was that? But Berserk, but
Berserk,
but not the box set, but how many there's volumes of those?
I don't know. I think they're up to like 13 or 14 books or 15 books. I'm not sure. My son has got a bunch of them. Yeah, they're huge, man.
And then I saw, surprisingly, I'm not sure if there's oh yes, he did. Yeah, there you go.
He does have it. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
There's some other ones which came out. I was looking, to be honest, to see if I can actually in real life see the Hernandez Brothers box set of that, but I've never seen it live.
Love and Rockets, yeah.
Yeah, Love and Rockets, but they don't have, and not in any of this. Wow, what a good wife. Well
That's
done,
a hell of a gift, man. Hell of a gift.
Jesus, keeper. She's a keeper, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I never realized how big they were, because when you see a video and you just need to basically have that perspective of your own eyes seeing that. And damn, that looked like it's the only I've seen Akira many times as a movie, all right, but I've never fully read as a comic or manga, if you say that. So I would want to, because I know you had it. I don't remember how
it's great. Yeah, I've got it. It's
Dr.
great.
Monkey bought
It's
this
so great.
singles. I keep on looking singles. Once in the blue, I see one issue of Akira in single format, and that looks like expensive.
don't even waste your time with the singles. Just find
Fine.
Find these versions instead. The Kodansha ones. They've been printed so many times. So even this, when I bought it, it was $27.99 Canadian, right? So it's not super pricey or anything. And this is a big volume. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 6 volumes total. And honestly, it is just so good.
As the kids say. Yeah. Yeah, you want to have a wife supporting you that. So why I remember why I went to that manga section. So I was looking for
beautiful that is. It's just gorgeous.
Boy. Oh, dude. Again. Go back. I put this big screen.
Oh, I missed. I probably closed it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I won't. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
Show us the beauty of art.
Look at that. It's so nice, man.
Oh, look at these. Oof.
Yeah, it's just such a good book. The movie is great. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But the book is so fucking phenomenal. Wait. It's really, really good. Just takes it to a whole other level, right? So yeah, it's great stuff.
She's wonderful, Sean. I went to see because Lone Wolf the Cub is another manga on my reading list. Right. So when I realized, so I wanted to see what that omnibus size looked like. I went to that manga section to look for that. I found it. It's the tiniest. I've never seen the tiniest. Kamui is bigger than Lone Wolf and the Cub, and it's giant, like thick. All right,
thick. Yeah,
and it's 10 volumes of that.
I'm not sure how many. I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a lot of space. I always first thing I think space. Okay, there's too much space to give, right? Because it's quite big. But I didn't realize they releasing a special edition hardcover.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know. I'm going to look on that, but it's really kind of tempting because I would like to read Lone Wolf and the Cub.
Yeah,
properly from the beginning to the end. It's an experience, true masterpiece.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. Have you read Tim? I don't know if you saw the video I did a couple of weeks ago about Domu. Have you read Domu, the 3 books of Domu?
Oh yeah,
because that the kayfabe guys had talked about it at one point, and they had mentioned that it almost reads like a precursor to Akira. And when I read it with that in mind, it really does kind of feel like that. It feels like before there's been the apocalypse, these kids are starting to show themselves as having these powers, and the idea is that the kids in Domu are kind of the younger versions of the kids who are in Akira, so it's well worth reading if you haven't read it.
Yeah, I've been looking for Domu, and that's not cheap. Oof.
No, it's not cheap at all, but goddamn, is it ever worth it? Like, sincerely, it's really worth it. It's a really, really good book. There's only Dark Horse did 3 books. There's 3 small volumes of them, and I think it was collected as well too. So, because I've seen some collected editions on eBay.
Good old Dark Horse, eh? They have done quite a publishing. Anyway, okay, so are we good to go now? We done with all the talking? Don't have anything to add?
Nope.
Oh, I've been on a binge of Spirited Away. I watched, what is his name?
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki's Kick again. So the Firefly, what is it called? I've forgotten the name.
Grave of the Fireflies, I think.
Okay, I started watching. I bawled my eyes out after 5 scenes. What the hell? I'm not going to be able to finish it because it's so sad.
Yeah.
Because the first thing happens, they basically destroys their mother, die like in that, wrapped around like a mummy. Ooh, he said he has not read that book.
Oh, it's worth hunting for, and I mean, with your luck, you'll probably find it somewhere and pay like 50 cents a book or something like that. Keep your eye. It's Domu is what it is. Domu.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, so I want to watch. So, did you watch that Fireflies? I guess you did.
I have seen it, but it was quite a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, honestly, most of Miyazaki's movies tear me up because they just have some. They have some underlying emotional resonance to every single one of his movies. So I have seen it.
Yeah, but I watched Spirited Away, and I watched it. I don't know how many times now, but every single time I watch it, I find something more interesting. So it's interesting how that movie, particularly, I find it that I keep on grasping another things I missed out on. Seems to be there's lots of hints about everything, and I had more appreciation of what. Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
I tried. I switched it off because I felt so sad. I was like, I can't do this. Nope, not doing this anymore. My husband had like maybe less than 5 minutes. He's like, nope, I'm not doing that.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's like, so I didn't realize that what his Studio Ghibli's work as well. So a lot of stuff like early 80s. I always caught up because I've been rewatching, or like maybe I'm watching all my favorite stuff. But it seems to be like, oh yeah, this one I could have given more attention to. They have a special edition T-shirts coming out only for males and kids. How annoying is that?
My brother's wearing one today, actually, for Spirited Away. That looked pretty nice.
They have this beautiful Spirited Away T-shirt I saw. Only for males and kids, though. Apparently, females don't want to wear that.
Well, you can wear a man-sized shirt, can't you?
No, I could, but I'm just appalled that it's the...
Yeah, right.
Because I think...
Because the ladies cut one, they always have one that's cut a little different, right, for the women's T-shirts?
So on Instagram, there's two chicks watches Miyazaki movies, and they film themselves. And I think that's where I got the hint of I knew about that movie anyway, Grave of Fireflies, but I saw like 5 seconds of them watching it. One of them completely like tissues in their eyeballs, and another one is pouring their eyes out. So yeah, it's an emotional wreck, which I don't know if I'm capable of withstanding yet. Anyways, okay, let's say goodbyes now. Thank you, people, for turning up. Aulemans, Damien, Sean. What else? Earl Grey. Did I miss somebody? I think I missed somebody. What did I miss? Who I missed?
I don't know. Damien, Sean Rias, Tim, Earl Grey. Who else was here? I think that was it.
Oh, and anyone read Bowling Courses?
No, I haven't heard of it, but I did see the Mignola documentary though, which was great. That's something that I watched, but I think maybe that was a couple of weeks ago at this point now.
I was looking for that book. I was looking for that book as well, and I couldn't find it, a physical copy. I didn't know. So you liked it, then maybe I'm gonna read it. Maybe my library.
Yeah. Nausicaa is my favorite as well too. Honestly, I love Nausicaa. I'm still trying to get all the issues. I love that movie so much. It's right up there with Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, but I think it just kind of edges out for me. I love it so much, and that's also the one that feels the most like a Moebius kind of style. You know what I mean? There's similarities through both of their work for sure, but that one really has that kind of vibe to it. But I love that movie, and what I've read of the comics, I love as well too.
What's your opinion about Porco Rosso? Because I'm indifferent.
I don't know if it didn't really resonate too much with me, honestly. There's been a couple of Miyazaki ones that didn't really do much for me, and that's one. That other one with the raccoons as well too. It was okay, but I didn't love either of those, you know.
What is that one which is really sweet with the tiny people? What's it called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Arrietty something? Arrietty.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so I like that. But I think Princess Mononoke is still Spirited Away love. The Princess Mononoke is one of my, like, I could watch it a lot. And I love Castle in the Sky as well.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
So now I'm gonna watch Nausicaa again because I have not watched it in a while. So thank you very much for that recommendation.
So fucking good. Yeah, so good.
People, enjoy your rest of the day. Oh, happy birthday to my nephew who's turned 21. He doesn't watch this, but anyway.
Happy birthday, nephew.
He's a big boy now, so you better don't cry anymore. That's it. We're done listening to your cries. Anyway, bye, people.
Okay, later.
Ciao. Porco is great, but not for everybody. True.